All right. So I think we are actually starting this presentation because otherwise we're really going to run late. Hello, I'm Cheetah. I'm the director of the EF21 Puppet Show. And since we have to run it at this time of the day, which is really, really late by EF21 standards, so I hope that everyone's awake. I'm very thankful that people are coming interested in the stuff we do. And when we started preparing this talk, we thought, how can we present what we do? Because honestly, we've been doing this for more than 10 years, but we had no idea how we actually do it. We never had a structure to the process. It was basically tasks that were handed to the people who were there, and it kept growing from there. So everybody became bigger and bigger tasks. And before we prepared this this talk, we tried to make like a little diagram that you should be able to see over there. Would you please turn down the house lights? So maybe and close the curtains. You down there, the guy with the remote that we now have. Yep. Is that fine? So that people can see the projection properly. No. They have a great remote. They have no idea where they're pointing. I love that. This is how the pop show goes. It's like you have the right button to press and nothing happens, and then keep like 3 hours finding out why it doesn't work that way. Did it work earlier? Yeah. 1 minute ago. 3 hours. Okay, as long as you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to explain that diagram because we started preparing this talk, and this was the first question we asked ourselves. So where do we even start? Because we didn't know. So we made this little process diagram, and we figured out that whatever we do, it's fucking complicated. So there's a lot of stuff we're not going to talk about tonight, simply because it would take too long, and we are concentrating on the stuff that we thought is interesting. The whole production of the puppet show starts a long time before we actually start rehearsing the puppet show, obviously. You can see, I made a screenshot from our internal documentation where you can see that actually the first script writing meetings take place in January. And the whole process of actually making this happen takes about between 7 and 8 months. And does your microphone work? There it is. Okay. Yep. Okay, I have no idea which microphone you are. We were trying our best. And well, as you can see, we start with the script writing, and because this thing first needs to be written, and yeah, come upstairs. Just sit down. I'm going to tell you the full story. We probably need to change sound cards in the middle because it decides it wants to like also detect this thing, and it doesn't work. But the difference is I have to shut down one thing and start the other. It's going to work. And well, basically this half year is all the time we have. We have basically one. You always do that. We have 1 year of preparing this thing, and January is about the time when we actually get to do it. And we have only this one go to actually get it right. We start writing it. Sometimes it's going to be, sometimes it's going to work. And if we figure out it doesn't work, we have to make it work. This is, by the way, if we talk about script writing meeting, that's usually me and Icehooks. And we are living about 500 kilometers, that's 350 miles apart. That means if the roads are clear, we have like what's the record?
4 hours.
Yes, I usually take like 6 hours per car. I'm not young as he is. And
I had a good
I don't want to die that early. And so it's quite a bit of an effort because every second weekend he comes to my place, and every other weekend I come to his place. And we somehow try to not to die or like be bankrupt or anything like that.
Or kill anyone around us.
Yes. So obviously, where's that thing? Okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I need to look at my own notes at the moment because, as a matter of fact, we are kind of karaoke this thing. Okay, when we first meet, we need to come up with ideas with what the heck are we doing. Thank you. And the first thing we come up with, what kind of story do we want to write? Because that's the first idea that we need to come up with. Is it going to be a love story? Is it going to be like a political thriller? Is it going to be a science fiction story? And we usually settle with something that we really enjoy writing. Because we get a lot of requests. Why don't you write this? Why don't you write that? Why don't you write something that goes with the theme? If you only have 6 months to write it, and you're not someone who basically writes pulp fiction for a living, it's really hard to come up with something that someone else came up with and then write a story that fixes it. And so we usually go with epic stories. We like character-driven storytelling because it sounds very sophisticated, but it's actually easier to write. And we like to do like fables for adults. That's the stuff we like to write. And yeah, obviously the inspiration we have is basically the stuff we wanted to watch when we were children. So a lot of inspiration we draw are from early 80s or 90s, like Jim Henson movies with All of the Dark Crystal or anything like that. And the other thing is we would like to play computer games. So we are much inspired by computer games of the 90s and the story they tell. Like you can see that last year's story was very much inspired by Inherit the Earth. And well, next thing you have to find out if you know what kind of story you want to write. You need to find out when and where is it going to happen. You need to come up with the universe it takes place in. So you have to make up a time frame. If it's supposed to be like a mirror image of the real world, you have to see, is it the medieval times, is it far in the future? And you need to come up with a place. And one of the things that many story writers don't do, but that we are completely like OCD about, is that we must have a geography that works. For example, if characters move from one place to another, we need to make sure. Yeah, we need to. we need not only to make sure that it works on stage, but also if they walk like for 2 days to cover the difference, actually the story must take that into account. And the graphic you're seeing right now, that is part actually of the opening titles, because we put it in the opening titles like Lord of the Rings like, because we wanted to give people the idea that we are telling fantasy stories. That's why we have this kind of map. But the other thing is that the distances we have here and the scale of the world kind of matches our story, so we can tell the story in this time and place. And I will stay on this thing for a little bit, because the next thing is you need to come up with characters who live in this place that you've just come up with, and you come up with the idea what is the main characters, what is the main conflict, what's the story going to be about. So you come up with, okay, you have this one guy and he has to redeem himself because he has a dark secret. And you keep writing that guy's backstory, and it's not going to end up directly in the story, but it's just the pre-work you do before you start writing this. So you know this guy is living alone and he once had a wife. And she died, and he thinks he's responsible for it, so he wants to redeem himself, so he has a strong motivation to do certain things. And then we have that other guy who has a lot of power because he's like part of the ruling caste, and he has all that powerful machinery behind him, and he's trying to protect it. So he has a very strong personal motivation to do what he's been taught that is right to do. And then we have the third person who might be running away from home because she's a fugitive, because she's an unwanted child and she has like genetic properties that are not wanted in that kind of society. And so you start writing the backstory of the characters, and then you basically, if you have the world, the characters, and the motivation, you basically imagine how would it be if these characters meet, and you start writing the dialogue. And if you reach that point, and if you've done it consistently, the story is basically going to write itself. We don't always make it that ideal. Yes,
yeah, sometimes they do things that are basically
not so good for a show because when you start stabbing each other right in the first scene, it's
Oh, good. You don't want to have the characters going at each other's throat right at the beginning and killing each other.
Yeah.
Because that would be a very short story.
Yep, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
So what we try is to place them in the world and say, okay, go.
Yeah.
And they run. So in our heads, they start running and doing things. And if that outcome is not really as desired, then we put an obstacle in their place. So they can't run that way. They have to run the other way. And so like this, you build piece by piece.
And as you can tell, the actual mechanics of playing comes last. We have to keep in mind what the restrictions are and what people can do and what people we have. Because we're writing for a specific troop of puppeteers that we can't write something for people that we don't have. And we can't write anything that we physically can't do. Anyway, how do we come up with the stuff? It is basically, I'm showing you right now the route that we usually walk when we write. This is my place. I'm living someplace down here. Yeah, that's my home. And this is the way we walk. There's like a chemical park here, and when the weather is nice, we keep walking for like 2 or 3 hours, and basically keep throwing ideas at each other, and to get all the distractions out of you. Because if you sit at the computer and we're trying to come up with ideas, we will be totally distracted and watch Twitter and be frustrated. But just going outside and having a walk and like this is roughly like 15 kilometers. This is the best way to come up with ideas. And when we actually start writing, we do a lot of collaboration. It is a very intense thing that basically Icebooks and me have developed over the years. So first thing we do is just write the dialogue from top to bottom. And we're using this Pirate Pad thing, which is, does anybody of you know Pirate Pad or Etherpad? Some people do. It's a little bit like Google Docs. It's a website that many people can log in at the same time, and you can see the names on the top right. It's right now it's just me, and several people can edit and watch the same document being edited. So you can basically log into this, and if there's like log in 3 people, you see 3 names, and everyone writes in a different color. So we sit together. And we keep throwing lines at each other, and one of us starts writing this. And at some point you get into the flow, and the person who's actually doing the writing will just keep writing. And the other person will just basically edit all the errors out, just a few lines above. And in the end we get some German-English mixture thing that we can work with. When we've got like the basic dialogue down, we put it into our internal documentation, which is a wiki. And we first write a header into the wiki, what you can see right now, where we have a list of characters, we have a list of the setting, how the scene is going to be. Basically, you can read it as a novel, because you know where it is, when it is, who's in it, and stuff like that. And we actually put our dialogue and our actual directions that we come up with into the wiki. It's a developing thing. You can see the little symbols on the left. It shows which is the direction, which is the light direction, which is the sound direction. And using this, people can theoretically just pick up the lines that are interesting for them. And then, as you can see on the bottom, the actual dialogue follows. That's how we document internally. So we have a collaborative writing process, and then we put it in the wiki, and then we have a more iterative process where everyone involved can do their own edits, like the sound guy does the sound edits, or that guy can do the light edits, and so on. Yes, and we keep changing it all the time. So it has a version control, so you can see what it actually does. Well then, eventually magic happens, and the result is a script. And the exact process, how we get there, can be widely different. This is how a typical pop show script looks like. It has roughly 70 pages with all the directions in it. It's basically a printout from the wiki. Everyone gets a copy of this for each rehearsal we do. Some decide to put it on their handheld, they put it on a phone or on a tablet, but for most of the rehearsal we do this, and everyone during the rehearsals like this just scribbles in it and have their own notes, and well, most of the time Risa is the one who has to consolidate all the changes, because she's our script kitty, and we just keep throwing changes at her, and she will put them in the wiki when time has come. So, I will go I will try to go fast. If you want an explanation, please yell, stop! But we only have like 2.5 hours for this event, and so I'm going to try to be a little bit faster so that once we don't overdraw our time slot. When we've got the basic dialogue written and the basic direction, it's really only basic, there's a lot of stuff missing yet, then comes the time when the first rehearsal takes place. We used to have like a workshop that we can use as a rehearsal stage. I will show you more about that later. And as you can see the pictures, this is how it looks when we sit together for the first time. Ideally, everyone should have read the script by then, but many don't. They don't want to spoil the surprise. We're like, no, we don't like surprises at the first rehearsal. And this is the time when we first do the casting. And this is the first time when we first read it. It's very, very, very exciting because the first time when we see that the stuff we wrote actually works.
If we start reading out the dialogue via, like, he's going to do a line, I'm going to do a line, and we're trying to find out who of the guys you can see there, guys and gals actually, you can see there, will be able to play this role or play that role. Or someone says, oh, I want this role, I want that role. And then, of course, training goes on. Because there are two or three people who want to take one role, and the other ones want to take another role, and then they start swapping things until we finally arrive at the stage where we can say, okay, you are, in this case, you are Frostwind, you are Ironwood, and you are Riversong. And that's how we try to settle it down at the first meeting, the first script meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Concerning the casting, who speaks which role and who plays which role, sometimes we have someone in mind. Yeah. Sometimes we have to have someone in mind. Like we have very, very few female actors. So if we have like one woman, like Pan in the cast, it's quite obvious that she's going to play the girl because there's no choice. Sometimes we cast by skill because someone has a speaking role and we know his English is really good. And sometimes we know someone will play an extra because he does play very good, but his English is not too good. And since we're doing all this in a secret language, in a foreign language, it sometimes does feel like a secret language to us. We add that extra level of difficulty. When we write, we actually have editors. We usually have people like Lancy, Kigava, or Pinky, or Twill trying to help us out and read through our script before we rehearse it and turn the gibberish into somewhat English-like sentences. Because, yeah, it's really hard as Germans to actually write this in English. So, yeah, when we reach this point, we basically go and rehearse the thing. Basically, everyone knows who their roles is. And the first thing we do is we read this whole thing from the script with the right distribution of roles. And I have usually the pens out, like changing and doing stuff because it makes such a big difference if you hear something like played or if you're just reading it from the script. And
the first time reading out, it's off again.
Yeah, and you need to wiggle the cable.
Then we wiggle it again. So first time reading and standing behind the stage and trying to play the thing is usually very, very stiff, and it just goes like, wait a minute, okay, got the line, okay, ouch, damn, oh no, they're not the fire, no wire.
Yeah, I'm going to have some footage from the first rehearsal, so you can have your own opinion on where it goes.
And we don't have all the props yet.
Yeah, and we don't have all the puppets yet because it's a blank slate. At this point, it's the first time that we decide how it's going to.
You have a skeleton of a puppet. And it looks really creepy, and you have to try and make it look adorable.
Yeah, we have to do a lot of pretend.
Wiggle it.
Yeah, or we have the Coke bottles with post-its representing.
Yeah, we write on it, this is the cart, or this is...
Then we have the banana for scale.
Yeah. Yeah, this is how the puppets look like when they're not finished. Yeah. You see, you want to make this like work, and it is like it should be cute. Yeah, okay, it's better. Yeah, so this is what we play with for the first rehearsal. Sometimes we have a bit more. Sometimes we take one of the female puppets and use them, reuse them as cast or as stand-ins for the puppets we will use later. So sometimes we have a wolf playing a bunny. Anyway, first time on the stage.
And sometimes we have a Coke bottle playing the money.
Right, you have Coleman running around.
Yeah, and the microphones always fail, don't bother.
Yeah.
We're working in a small room, so we kind of make it work. Okay, I'm going to hand the mobile thing to Leonard now, because he's going to tell us something about the puppets.
Hello?
Yeah, you have to tell me, if I'm the one changing the slides, you actually have to tell me when.
Okay. Yeah, so Cheetah gave me this little script here with lots of informations.
Yeah, it's PowerPoint material.
And he said, okay, we have some slides and you will do it. Great. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
okay, I will try
this
that. Well, as you can see, we have brought a few puppets. This is about, I think, 50%.
Yes, this is a small part of the ensemble we have.
But these are the newer ones we have at the moment. We started off with very small ones, but as the stage grew, we had to go for bigger puppets.
Yeah, the slide shows you a couple of our puppet builders. I will turn this a little bit so you can see what you're actually talking about.
Oh yeah, that is good. Thank you. That helps.
Because on the top row we have like Henrike, Lance Ikigawa, we have Theo. On the bottom row we have like Tani. On the right we have Bruno and Fervin, and there's so much many more. I think every one of us has done some extent of puppet building sometime.
Yeah, mine was scrap.
Can you go next?
Yes, of course.
Okay, this is Null. This is our little bunny. I think it's Eisfuchs' famous puppet.
Yeah, it is.
As you can see,
technical gimmicks, but he's just cute.
yeah, he is cute. He is cute.
Yeah, this is the actual puppet. It's one of the really early rock puppets that we're using, and what we're showing on the slide right now is how it goes from character design to the actual puppet. Because if we can afford the time, and if the people can afford the time, we usually talk with an artist and we tell them about the backstory of the character, and we give them some ideas how it's going to look like. And this is what you can see here. That's character sketches done by Henrike that she did of that character, and then later, actually when we liked it, she started building that puppet. And
yeah, as you can see, she is very good with toony characters, and also she has a good idea how you actually have to build a puppet. You can see this in the middle, on the upper part. You can see she has painted a hand inside, so how the hand will fit inside the puppet. This is always very good, because mostly you have puppets, they look good, but somehow the puppet player has to get inside, and if I have to hold my hand like this, it's not fun going for a puppet for 2 hours or so. It simply doesn't work. She's very good with that, also with the cartoony expressions. In the upper left, you put some coffee in here and they get these nice eyes he has right now. So, could you go on?
And he's a feather, really.
Yeah, he's
Compared to
extremely
other
light.
puppets,
He's
he's
extremely
a feather,
light.
really. He looks overweight a bit.
That's
I can assure
from
you
all the
it's not.
fast food.
yeah, we have
Pizza.
prepared
pizza,
some more character designs so you can see how it actually works from the design and how the finished puppet looks. Like this is Visonia that we first used in the EF18 show, the Roman show, and we've been recycling her and using her again.
I think it's her, right?
Yeah.
Or
Is
is
it
it
the
your
one
sister?
with? It's the one with the blue eyes.
Okay, okay. I'm always mixing them up.
Yeah.
We have two of them. So.
This is a really early one
Yeah.
where Xan did the design in a 3D program, and he loves dragons, so he did this dragon design of Kai Lung, that's the character's name, and he did a very detailed sketch of the color scheme. And in the bottom frame, you can see how it turned out in real life, and it was like 2.5 meters long.
Yeah,
It
we
was
needed
like 8 feet,
three
9 feet long.
people, three people to play it, and
Yeah,
it
there was one guy wearing him on
extremely
his head.
heavy.
Yeah.
So that's always the problem with puppets. I mean, Null is a very light one, and when you compare it to Makani, which is a puppet
Makani's
with...
head is 3 times his weight.
Yeah,
Only-
yeah,
it's
but
only
it contains, I think, 6-8 motors for
10.
controlling the animatronics. So
10.
Yeah.
10.
You, you can
So that-
already hear that everyone has a different strategy of building these things. That's
Yeah.
why we're doing the sketches, so we have some idea of what we're going to end up
Yeah.
with. Because when Henrike built something like this, you basically carved it out of a piece of foam, like a Yeah.
Yeah.
And weighs
Speaking
nothing.
of piece of foam, we have here the head of the Snapjaw. He's sitting over there. He's very big.
Yeah, if you've seen last year's show, it wasn't the first scene, it was the big
Jack,
dragon.
could you
that
bring it
threatens
over
to
here
just
so we can
eat
show it?
everybody.
The problem is he's not very heavy, but it's the size is very
Yeah, it
big,
takes-
so you have to be careful with that.
It takes a couple of people to
Yeah.
play to play him.
Actually, 2 or 3 people. This is from Lance
Yeah.
Kikawa.
Nancy Kagawa
You
made
can see,
this one.
that's the problem with the head. It turns around, you have to be very careful with that.
Yeah. And he put a lot of detail in that you don't actually see in the show, because it has some supposed to have some lamps in it in the nose and in the paws, and we knew that we could not possibly play a full dragon on stage because it would have taken like 10 people to play it at this scale. So we decided it was a dark scene, and we had one guy, Leonard, playing the paws, I think.
One
You guys-
paw.
yes.
In the beginning, I played 2 paws, and then we split it over because it was
The
way
distance
not
was
possible.
too big, so we ended up with I think 4 or 5 people.
I
playing
was
the
just
thing.
bringing the paws now. They were like gloves.
Yep.
Fit in, but you have these long fingers. So when you wear them, it's like yes, master.
And
You're
the
like
thing is-
Igor.
The thing is, we
And you
turned-
can scratch your
Yeah.
own back with that.
We used a little theater trick. We turned down the lights so nobody could see that this thing actually doesn't have a body. So you can only see the eyes and everything that glows, and everything else, like the puppeteers, is hidden in the dark.
Yeah,
So
exactly like that.
Yeah.
The problem is also with these hands. She just said, okay, you have to grab the one of the characters. It's like I try to.
Yeah.
It's really hard to don't have very well control about the fingers because they are so big.
Exactly. Next up on the slides, you can just keep showing
Oh, yeah.
this thing.
I like that one. That's Lord Elder Crown. And I think Tio here also already has a printed 3D head, right?
Yep, that's the first time.
Okay.
Sometimes our characters are obviously inspired by external sources. Like in the top left, you can see a character sketch that's originally from the computer game Inherit the Earth.
Yeah.
And we want to have a character who's like the king of the village, and he's like all the authority.
Yeah.
We cutified a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But that also, his antlers are formed like a crown here. So this also plays into a character a little bit. You try to put features into the character design itself. So he looks cute with that. He's the ruler of the city.
Yeah.
That's why he has this antlers, this round ones. Or something.
Yeah. This little guy is called Bottle Brush.
Yeah, that's Bottle Brush. That's my tail here.
You can see this is one of the times where the character actually
Brush.
looks quite different. Looks quite different from the sketch.
Hey there.
But we all loved him. We all loved him the way he is because
Yeah.
he is like totally adorable, and he's like a somehow dramatic and
He's
funny
huge.
sidekick in the
Yeah.
story.
He's huge and heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has Tio, what is it? A cleaning brush, right?
Yeah.
It's called bottle brush.
It's
Yeah, he has a
actual
brush
bottle brush
in his
tail.
tail. So, that's why. But it works very nicely.
Yeah,
Bounces back.
yeah. Maybe Theo wants to talk a few things
Yeah.
about the actual process of how we build it. And the first thing that Theo does, when Theo does the puppet building, he kind of developed a standard process for coming up with new puppets. And 3D printing revolutionized everything, and so does he.
Yeah, when I first started making puppets, I built them all by hand using the usual materials, but I also use fursuit building. So plastic mesh, a lot of cable ties, foam for the body, and everything covered with fur using hot glue just to stick it on. So this process took me a lot of time. And I soon realized that I couldn't really do it with many puppets. And I wanted to find a way where other people could work with me and give them a very simple way to help without having to have all the skills and all the materials and so on. So I started to use 3D printing to make very simple heads that can be used to make a puppet. And I basically mailed these heads to other people and let them finish it. So, for example, Albert Crown Overwear was built by Luno, or oh, it's not here, by the way. Not here. No, we didn't bring all the puppets. Yeah. I also did some workshops at home where I invited other people to help me to see how it's built, and it worked very well. We have a lot of puppets now.
Yeah.
I hope we don't need as many for the next show.
I hope so too. It'll be all birds, don't worry. It's very easy. Yeah, he did one bird and we were like, hey, this looks really cool, we should do this.
I made 2 by now.
Yeah. You can see on the slides basically the same as here. You can see that there's heads being 3D printed and parts being 3D printed. The holes are to reduce weight and to reduce the material we use. And then this is one of the typical, dare I say, standard bodies.
Yeah.
It's the lightest way to build bodies, and it's basically it's all home improvement supplies. It's basically the black straps are basically safety straps. The gray parts are basically insulation. They're meant for like heating insulation. The blue thing is like a how's it called? Like a sleeping mat or a yoga mat, gym mat, and stuff like that. And then it's lots of hot glue and burnt fingers.
I made a lot of patterns for these. The pattern for the body is, for example, on Fur Affinity. You can download it, print it, use it. All the other parts also have patterns that I described in my tutorials. So it's not really not complicated to make one of these.
Yeah. I think the most complicated part is actually putting the fur on.
Yeah.
You can now see on the slides, you can see the puppet that is actually made up of the parts you can see here. So it's the body and the head that gets joined. And you can actually delegate it. You can send the head to someone else and you send the body. As long as you use the same type of fur, you know it's going to fit.
Yes.
All right. I have to look into my own script. What's next? Yeah. I have 2 little videos next. We'll see if that works. We might have some dropouts. Here we can see Tani doing the fur of one of the non-anthropomorphic puppets. It's one try we ever did where we tried to use non-anthropomorphic puppets. What was it, EF16? Where we have these 17, it was 17, yeah, the year of the rat, where the protagonists were this huge non-anthropomorphic dragon that I showed earlier, and those non-anthropomorphic tigers. And yes, it was a challenge to build, it was a challenge to play, and we're not going to play. It's really complicated.
There's a reason why we don't use them anymore.
Yeah, but you could see that Tani is trimming the fur at the moment, and that's one, exactly like fursuit building, it's one of the important things you can do.
The heads of these cats are actually fursuit hats that I made. So, this one in the picture, it would have fit me.
Next up, we do also some custom coloring. Like this is Savannah, the serval. And she looked a little, a little simple without the spots on. So this is a little video of Tani putting on the spots with an airbrush. And as you can see, she looks a lot better with the spots on because you can actually guess the species now. And I think it's one of the nicest puppets that we had, I must say. I really like it.
There's all the markings, even on the back, on the tails, everything is there.
It needed lots of modification until it works.
Oh yeah. The hat is not the original hat. We made 2 of us. The first one did not really look right.
Yes. We had to check out the proportions, because if you build puppets like this, you actually have to have some sense of proportion in it so that they work in the context of the story. You can't have like one puppet that is like all cartoony, and you can't have another puppet that is all realistic. You have to find that middle ground, and we used the Mongrels middle ground.
Yes.
Yes. So we watched the TV series The Mongrels, and we thought this is exactly what we want to do. It's only that we're building them about 50% larger. we actually had the guys from Mongrels play up one of these puppets, and they were like, "Oh, these are lightweight for the size, honestly." But how are you holding this up for so long? And we talked to Jim Martin, that's one of the directors behind the Sesame Street, and he also saw our puppet show, and we asked him, "Is there any special trick you do, not to sprain your shoulder?" And he said, "Well, yeah, your scenes are too long. That's it. It's that easy." We said, "Oh yeah, you can talk. You're working on television. You can make it as short as you want to."
It's like, okay, it's a little bit different with us.
Yes. Okay. Yes, and the thing we also have to keep in mind is that our puppeteers don't have the right size. It's like Icebox and Pan. Maybe you can just stand next to each other, and so there's already a difference. And now, if
No, Pan is already wearing her shoes.
Yeah, she's wearing not even high heel shoes. These are elevated shoes.
Yes.
They're really, this height of sole under it, so she can actually play.
So this is the problem we have to deal with. We have only one size of puppet, and we only have one size of stage.
And play rail.
And the thing is, we have to somehow find a middle ground to place the rail that we play on, that everyone can actually play it. And this is the reason why you sometimes see our heads, because we have to have the smallest puppeteer as a measure. And she's already working hard to do it bigger, and we keep like putting up Coke bottles, Coke crates and stuff like that for her to stand on when she just keeps getting lower and lower.
Well, sometimes it looks like this. She's standing there holding the puppet right up, and I'm standing next to her, playing like this with her, so it works right, but it's not good for my back, but
And we have people like Overf over there, who's even taller.
Even taller.
Tiger's Eye, who has one of the jobs like carrying stuff around.
I think you get the point.
I suggest not only the type of puppeteer differs. I suggest you grab just Frostwind and River Song and Rain Dancer, which are supposed to be like a couple and hit. You grab those and show people how different the size of the puppets is. Because we're still talking about the portions of the puppets. Sometimes you want a puppet that is actually like a kid. And it needs to still be like a playable rod puppet, and that really gets a problem because you can't make it much smaller because your hand won't fit inside.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's fun when you build it when you can't fit inside yourself.
Yes, we also have that because the puppets are finished not only when the director is happy, also when the puppeteers are happy, because they might be too heavy, they might be too small. We had one time we had like a puppeteer couldn't fit his arm inside. It's like we have the most beautiful puppet ever, and the puppeteer was going like, does everybody have like loop on them?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But Rain Dancer?
I wasn't aware, but I built it. And suddenly I got this tweet, Theo, your fox is too tight.
That was Marcus.
Usually when you fit your hand inside the puppet, you try to play it like this, so the lower jaw goes with the thumb and the rest of the head with the rest of the fingers.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have puppets you have to play that my middle finger, for example, has to go into the lower jaw and have to talk like this, which is really interesting to do. But these puppets here are much better built for that.
Well, Rain Dancer is a bit of an exception because he is really, really small. It's a small guy in the middle right now, you can't see.
And you can see now clearly how it looks behind the stage when all the people gathering together, hugging each other. It's a bunch of people standing on each other's toes.
Yeah.
And his head inside is so small, I can't even get my whole hand inside. I have to do it like this, like 2 fingers and a thumb, and curl out the other fingers like that so they don't get in the way. So I tried this, I tried everything. It's just very.
Oh, don't worry, the hurting will go away.
So basically, you have father and mother and the kid now, and you can see how we tried to kind of mix the characteristics of like a bobcat and a vixen, and we made it like we lampshaded it by asking his dad or asking his uncle, like, Uncle Brushy, Mom is like a fox and Poppy is like a cat. How does that even work? And we kind of designed the story around it, and we came up with a funny explanation to make it work. So next question is, how do you play these things?
Carefully, very carefully.
So when we started, do we have a hand puppet there?
Yeah, we have a hand puppet here.
Because I'd love to show the difference between how we did it like 10 years ago and how we
This
did it today.
size is a typical folk mania's hand puppet. It's a very small one compared to these big guys. We had, I think our stage was half the size of that one, probably.
Yes.
So we started with the small ones, and well, we made this later. These are 15% bigger, based on the pattern of the fox or the lions here. They're also a little bit bigger now. Then we use those are the living puppets. They are a bit bigger, but they are extremely cartoony.
So they don't they don't always fit the scenes we're trying to play.
Sometimes you just have to use very simple puppet. This is basically some fur and a beak.
Yeah,
We use
this
that
is
for-
actually self-built.
Yeah, that
There's
was
EF12 or something like that, where we need some from birds, but you can only see the heads. And these are called hand puppets because you basically play them only with one hand, which makes it really easy because you only need one puppeteer for one character, and you can have them like read the script with one hand, play with the other hand, and you'll have it like a microphone like I'm wearing right now, and they can actually do the puppet and the dialogue at the same time.
You can even use very small puppets. We did this.
Yeah, when you have many of them.
Many of them. Yeah, we had really many of them.
We had a full construction site with meerkats, and this is like the chief
One of the
who has
last
like
we
the
still
yellow
have.
head.
Yeah,
So everybody
Just a
knows
ball
that.
and some paper, so it works. And I'm playing it like this.
And we basically switched to rod puppets because we needed something bigger, because we moved to a different venue, and we could just put a 2-meter stage on like a 10-meter stage of the venue. So we need to come up with ways to make this show bigger, and the obvious way to go is to build rod puppets. Icebooks, maybe you can explain why they're called rod puppets and how do you actually play them?
Yeah, rod puppets. Let me get one of the simplest.
Yes, that one.
The simplest rod
Tiger's
puppet
eye?
we have. So this is basically
These
the
are your
easiest-
hands. Come on.
Yeah, it's basically the easiest and simplest way to build a rod puppet. It's just a lot of fur and there's stuffing in it. It's just like it's foam, and I think it's a bit of wool, but it's just that. It's not more in there. There's a bit of cardboard here for the mouth, so it stays nice and flat. Yeah, some polyfill in here, and he has actually a joint in here where the polyfill is squeezed, so the arm bends realistically. So how do you play these? So when you have a normal puppet, you go like this and talk like this and move your head left and right and everything, so you can kind of do some expressions here and there. But if you want to do something more complex, you need arms, because arms, well, you can talk and do things like that with your arms and express yourself in a way you can't do without it, of course. And if you ever played something on a theater stage, on a real theater stage, your face is basically meaningless, because people are sitting like 30 meters, 40 meters away and don't see you really, but they see what you're doing with your arms and your body. And that's what we are doing with these, because we don't really have a way to change the facial
Most of
features.
the time we don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have it as a
we are
special
Does it
blinking
have
eyes.
a foam face?
It's all foam.
Yeah,
It's all
okay.
foam. Yeah.
The others, they have mesh like him. He can't.
Yeah.
He can
It's
move
rigid.
the muscle a little bit.
I can make him sniff a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's really hard. We have some puppets who can wiggle ears and close and open the eyes and something like that, but most of them are very basic. So, and we need these cables to operate them, which is really hard. I can demonstrate that to you. Can demonstrate it over there. So
you
how
can
do
see-
you play these?
You can
Yeah.
see we have the rods here,
Yeah.
which control the hands.
This is obviously the reason why they are named rod puppets, because you have the rods on the hands, where you can basically move the whole arm and the hands at the same time. So you can twist the rod to have like the open the hand, turn it to the outside, turn it to the inside, and of course position it the way you want it to.
Yeah. Here you can see he has here these clips for the rods, so he just can go a little bit in this direction, while he has additional possibility to move. But this also makes it complicated. The hand will probably go like this.
Yeah, it needs a bit of practice, of course.
Yeah.
And you can see when I'm going to talk, and I'm going to use my arms to show what I want to show. I'll show it over there, I'll show over there, something like that, or just
Rub the belly.
rub my belly,
Rub the
something like that. The problem is when you have a show that is 2 or 3 hours long and you only have 4 rehearsals to do that, you cannot memorize all your lines. So how you do it? You have a second person who plays the arms.
Yeah, go in front.
Of course-
Do it the real way.
Yeah. So like this.
Here. Just hold it. He has the text
So he's
on
basically
the...
always at my side. He's the one who's playing the arms at the last show for River Song, and he actually always plays the arms of my puppets basically. And we are rehearsing our steps. So when I say, okay, now we go left and run around here, and then stop, turn around and run back, and stop again. We have to do it in sync. Because when I run away, my arms don't follow, it looks silly, right? So it always has to work in some way. Or if he's going to interact with something, reading on a cell phone. Yeah, we have a stagehand holding his cell phone, because I'm here still reading my script and playing up there and reading on this thing and hoping that my arm's doing the right thing. And looking up and, okay, how do we even do this? Let me see. And he starts playing around and doing things, and I'm speaking the lines I have here. I really have to trust my arms and my stagehands here to do the right thing. That's basically how you do it. You need 2, maybe 3 people to play one of these puppets.
Now comes the next level.
You switch to Turkish.
Yes, try to do some interaction with 2 puppets.
Oh God!
Yes.
So there we have
Do the high five.
And then
get to that later.
this is actually the hardest part. Try to do a high five.
It's
with
an
this
internal
puppet.
joke, but it's one of the hardest things you can do with 2 puppets.
Yeah, if you see
Yes.
two-
Doing a high five with the hands.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
if you see 2
We
puppets
have
here-
this running joke that goes like, "Hey Leonard, high five!" We will see what I mean later.
As I would say, sometimes it's a problem. You look at your script and you have to. You're looking in this direction. Look at your script and the puppet talks
Usually-
in this direction. So
Right, and
you
usually
have
it's
to
still
always
like
be
this.
aware where the hand is.
Or like this, because there's no
Yeah.
room.
Okay, try to improvise a little bit if it's possible.
Okay, who's that? Is that Besonia? I think it's Besonia, right? Hey,
And
Besonia, how you doing? What? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I give you a hug? No. Oh. Please. Oh, pretty, please. With cherry on top.
Okay.
Oh, come here.
This is really hard. It looks so easy when they do it. If we have the time after this talk is done, we might have some time left, and we'll give you this opportunity to come up here and look at the puppets, look at the technology, and you can, if you would try to play one of these puppets, you can just come up to us after this talk and ask for it, and you can try to make 2 puppets hug. It's really hard. What's even harder is to make them interact with a prop. Sometimes to have like a piece of equipment that they hand over. And handing stuff over is like one of the hardest part. Try to make them hand over this. The banana. Let's use something big for change. You know where the switch is. Yeah. We have these things. It's like a torch that we.
Okay. Rita's going to be my stage right now. We're coming from over there. You stay there. This is totally improvised. Yep.
Yeah, but it could
As you
be
can
from
see.
a real scene.
So, okay.
Count the people involved in this.
Your turn! Your turn!
You see the problem?
Yes. So you start using a lot of space behind our stage because we have 5 people involved in playing 2 characters like this, and you actually have to make sure that you have the space to turn and that people don't step on their toes. And it really takes a lot of rehearsal to do that. Try one of the knives then. Step now. You step now.
What?
Yes. Or you just that's sexist. And the girl must kill the guy, otherwise
She can disarm me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, well.
Okay, you're the zombie.
Oh, that's a zombie? What? Wait.
I always wanted to do that. So you can see sometimes you put Okay, I know what to write now.
So our scripture says we will show you a hand over prop and do high five. So this is completely improvised. Right?
Yes, it is so much more fun to do this. And you can see sometimes he puts rods on the props. So the people handling them have something to grip on because you don't want to see like a hand every time a piece of prop gets handed around.
Our sword fight from last year.
Yeah,
Sword
yeah.
fight was, yeah.
Was really hard.
It was epic. Okay, are we going to try the high five? Not with the sword. No.
You might lose your hand.
Yeah, we already put the torch
But
away.
isn't it called a lucky paw?
Yes, but
It's not the happy ending.
I like to keep it attached, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you go.
Hey, high five! So that's why we replaced it afterwards. We wanted to have a high five in one of our shows, and then it didn't work, so we replaced it. Hey!
Boom. Yeah, try to kiss. That's another really hard one.
Oh yeah.
I can kiss her? Really?
Yes.
A real girl?
It's a stage kiss.
A real girl?
Wow, this is really intense. You have to actually know which way the other guy is turning.
Go get it.
Otherwise, they will just bump their noses into each other, and it will look like everything but not a kiss. Yeah, so that's how we play these things. Give a round of applause for the puppeteers, please.
As you also can see, we made some clothing here. We usually take them from kids' stores because they have the right size. I think 124 something. 128? Okay.
Yes, we found out the actual sizes of the puppets. So if it's like a modern store, we'll just buy clothes like at a discount store, and we sometimes wonder who actually wears this except puppets. There's some really atrocious stuff there.
Small people.
Yep. This is the next topic I'm going to talk about, and this is rehearsal and sound design. You might wonder how does that go together, but it's actually quite. He's seeing this slide for the first time. Yes. We thought this picture best combines rehearsal and sound design. And yes, the first rehearsal is basically the day after the first reading, and the first rehearsal is a bit like getting the band back together.
Yeah, it is.
It's basically the first time in a year that everyone who's going to take part meets. And
we're coming from all over Germany and sometimes even abroad. So.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a family reunion. So we meet at the rehearsal facilities. We set up the rehearsal stage and all the front of house, which is very similar to we've set up right now. We have breakfast, so somebody is bringing like bread rolls, someone else is bringing like sausages and stuff. And we try out the stuff we read and do little excerpts from the scripts.
Everybody picks their favorite part of the script and checks out if it really works on the stage. And
you can see the workshop we're using here. There's actually tools on the wall and stuff like that. It's someone's car workshop we're using. And when we have difficult parts, we like start doing the rehearsal. You can see that we already have like a skeleton puppet here.
Yeah, these are two stand-ins. The one is Makani's skeleton, which will be used later actually, and on the left is Savannah in raw form. She can't really tell it is Savannah, but it is.
Yeah. Then I usually have my birthday at some rehearsal. I think I had my birthday at rehearsals like 3 years in a row or something. Yes, I'm crazy like that. So eventually at midnight this happens. And we have long hours in the evening where we have both to work, but we also sit together and talk and meet. And sometimes it gets really late and stuff like this. And we usually have a barbecue for everyone. So it's pretty much like a family reunion, but it's also a lot of family members. Yeah, eventually we actually get rehearsing. As you have seen how we play this puppet. You can count how many people are behind the stage right now. So for the speaking roles, it's at least 3 people per puppet. And for all the non-speaking puppets, it's at least 1, sometimes 2, depending on what they're supposed to do.
Can you go back?
Oh, of course I can.
By the way, that's also a reason why we didn't go with the feral puppets, because for a feral puppet you need 3 puppeteers, because you need one for the front paws, one for the hind paws, one for the head, so then it's even more crowded. That was really crazy.
And you need a 4th person to handle the props, so it gets really complicated. Suddenly you have to play 4 legs.
And what you can see here in this picture is that it's a first rehearsal, so there are a lot of stand-ins. And so this is from the Keepers of the Light show. And in the back you have a Dalmatian firefighter, you have Nowl, you have someone, who was the Martin that was from the
That's really early.
Yeah.
We basically grab all the puppets we have.
Yeah, and I think it's a scene with Brushy, so Brushy wasn't built, so Leonard is playing a rat instead of her skunk. So this is the normal mix of characters that you kind of have to put post-its on to remember who is who.
Exactly. I think this made sense at the time. I'm not really sure.
It actually killed my cell phone. You can see that I didn't care.
This is the stage we're rehearsing on. It's basically a piece of truss like the one the lamps are built on. It's just sideways. And we built a little wooden plank on top of it. And we are using a lot of straps to actually put black mortar, not red one, but it's pretty much like that one here. And we have some speakers there. And this is how it looks from the other side. It's really, really crowded. This is a little less space than we have on the actual stage. And this is how we play. You can see the truss here and how we fix the wooden plank on it.
And you can see the white stickers on
There's white stickers on the wooden plank. You hopefully can see that. We numbered the section of the stage because we always get confused about what is left and what is right, because we have 2 perspectives of each. Even if we write that scene, I usually have like a mirror image of this in my head, and he has.
Because he sits at the front of the house, I'm usually in the back, and he says, okay, they're coming in from the left. Okay, they're coming in from the left. It's like, why are you coming in from the right? I'm coming in from the left.
So we now say he comes in from number 1.
Yeah.
Because we all agreed on which side of the stage that is. Front of house, that is the control booth. That's how it looks when we rehearse. Like we have like the sound desk all in the middle. You have like the sound effects. That is me sitting all the way on the left, and you have Tsanavo, who's usually doing the lights. He's sitting here, and he's basically the lights on, lights off guy. Because we don't have much lighting during the rehearsal, but it's important to have the cues when there's supposed light and when there's not supposed light. Turn off the lights, please. That's how it works.
Look at the script, no lights.
I'm the wrong script.
2, 3, launch!
Yeah, this is one of the rehearsals we do with stand-ins.
This was
Is everything
EF21.
all right? Can you hear me?
Aloha Hawaii.
This is how we rehearse.
Loud and clear. Excellent. We're in shallow water, so that's not much you need to take care of.
And yes, the floaters on the lower right are exactly what you think they are.
Just make sure you don't bump into anything with your gear. Your life may depend on it. Not to mention it will get cut in icon. Not to mention it will cost me a fortune. Wow! This is beautiful!
What you see here is actually what is taking place on stage.
It sure is.
In the
But
dark.
as a marine biologist, you probably know a whole lot more about all this than I do. Well, reading about it in a textbook is one thing. But this is the first time I can actually see it myself. It's mind-blowing! Look over there!
And it's me and I who's doing
Oh,
the
look
dialogue,
at that
because
over
they are
there!
concentrating
The
on
giant
the playing.
umbrella squid! Oh, I knew that one.
It's the umbrella squid. I like the umbrella squid. This is actually how we got the idea to make an umbrella squid in the water. But the only
I've never
thing we
seen
did
one
have
up
was
so
a
close. Thanks a lot for taking the time to meet him, Makani.
You're very welcome.
And now you're seeing the finished scene.
Yes, there is a shark swimming in your
3! There we go. Is everything all right? Can you hear me?
This is so beautiful.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You have the same amount of people on the stage doing this. You just can't see them because it's all dark.
But as marine biologist, you probably know a whole lot more about all this than I do.
Well, reading about it in the textbook is one thing, but this is the first time I can actually see it myself. It's mind-blowing. Look, over there!
Oh, you don't see these very often nowadays.
They're very sensitive to changes in the environment.
This used to be the
That's why
condoms in
it's
your
not
house.
so rare. Hello, little buddies. Oh, wait. Look. Over there. A giant umbrella squid.
So you know how it works.
I knew that one.
So you can tell there's a lot of work that goes into the actual choreography of how puppets work. And there's sometimes it's really difficult to put that into the script because there's only dialogue and you can't really have like instructions that show it all how it's supposed to work. You usually start off with a script that reads like this, and it says like, this is a different scene now. It says like, Savannah opens the lid of her trash can looking out. Savannah starts swaying from left to right, trying to make her trash can topple over. There's a sound effect, left, right, fall. The third trash can sways and fall over. Domino effect, the third trash can topples over the second one. The second trash can topples over the first one. The first trash can knocks over the beam that holds the tin roof. Squeak. Watch out! Incoming! Then, one side of the tin roof falls down, forming a ramp. Crash and slide. The stuff stacked on the roof slides down, hitting the other side of the seesaw. And people stop sprung, you know, exactly. And then puppeteers usually go, what the hell? And we go like, okay, yes, we agree this is not really easy to understand, so we show you. We usually use gummy bears. We said, okay, you're the red gummy bear, you're the yellow gummy bear, and you're the green gummy bear. And then we try to show how everyone is supposed to play this on a piece of paper. And they go like, what the fuck? And they said, okay, let's make a script and explain you how things are going. And they are, yeah, I somehow where this is going, but what is that thing on the right and what's that thing on the left? And
Yeah,
go
what's
like,
the sequence of events?
yeah, how it's going to happen, and that's the moment when Icebox goes like, okay, I will make you some animatics so you can understand how it actually works. And he does that little animation that actually shows you how it's going to work. And then people go like,
It's that simple.
It actually is, but it involves like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 moving parts. And you have to kind of keep it in sequence. This is why people keep telling me, do something easy, do comedy. And we go like, comedy is physical humor. How are we going to do it? We're going to like need like 200 props to do that. And after that, we send this animatics to everyone, and then we try to rehearse it. And this is how usually it looks.
Wow! Oh!
Yay! Perfect! I think that was the first time we got it right. It took a little bit longer than that. And as you can see, we're always using stand-ins, like stuff that we have lying around in the workshop. It's bananas and Coke cans and everything that works. Plus we have that in the workshop. And this is how the finished scene looks in the show. That was really hard to get right. Yes.
Yeah, there's the guy who built this incredible machine.
Yeah. So I told you earlier that the first rehearsal we do and the sound design are really closely intertwined. I'm going to show you why. Because the dialogue we speak at the first rehearsal is going to use as a guide track for the actual sound effects and the music we do. It's kind of a compromise because the performance at the first rehearsal is usually crappy, so there's a lot of editing going on. But if you have seen last year's show, we're going to show you an excerpt of the first rehearsal of the scene with the dragon that attacks the dog. And you can see that now.
Is anybody out there? Shit!
There's no sound
Oh no!
effects yet.
No! Not the fire! No! Go not the fire! Oh! Ouch! Help! Oh! Get up!
So one guy does the hand, then what is going to be the pause? Again, we are practicing the choreography so that everybody knows where they're going.
There? What in the light's name is going on?
I'm over here! Help me! No!
Hey, you filthy beast, get the hell out of here, or I'll blow you out the eyes out of my light!
So yeah, that's the excerpt of the rehearsal, and we are actually recording that dialogue that we speak. As you can see in the front, on the front right down here, there's like a PC running that records everything we say and everything we do. And I'm going to try and show you how actually we put it together and how we use that guide track to get to the final soundtrack. And we're going to try, if this thing drops out, I'm going to put it like on the pre-rec channel or something like that. Let's see if that works. So, that was wrong. Okay, the software I'm using here is called Samplitude. It's a hard disk recording software that can be used for music productions or everything else. I will show this message again. And I'm going to try to give you the best view that I can because the projection screen is a little bit small. And basically, every line we see here is one channel of audio that gets mixed into each other. Exactly. And I need to scroll all the way to the left to show it to you. So, the thing you can see up here, that is basically our recording of the track that you saw earlier. It should be.
Shit! Ouch! Damn! Oh no! No! Not the fire! No! Goes up the honey! Ouch! Help! Get out!
I'm a little bit afraid of this one. You can say it's in the waveform how it comes together, and this basically like has all the glitches in it, and it has like all the rehearsal fluff in it. Like,
Pleased to meet you, Frostwind. Here, take my hand.
but this is already the edited version. Okay, so we have all the dialogue in that scene in there.
What do we have against giving shelter to someone who's lost?
And what you can already see here is that.
Okay, alle in Position.
Yeah.
Good. There's all the talk and all the stuff, and all the makeshift sound effects that I did with the microphone. So, like myself going like.
One step.
Quite obviously, you don't want that for work. It really, yeah, we do it like this. So what I do is like I cut out all the stuff that I want so that I have the raw dialogue, so it becomes more like something you'd want to hear.
Help!
And then we just turn it down and cut out the parts that we don't want to hear. And it's one of those things. If you listen to this.
Well, festival night should be the best night of the year, not your worst.
You'll be safe at my house, I promise.
You have the raw dialogue, but it doesn't take place anywhere. You can't hear any presence. So the thing I'm doing now is I do add what we call ambience. And that is something that is in the tracks down here. So I'm zooming a little bit out. I'm trying to actually find the right place. So what I did in this take is, as you can see, there's gaps up here. So I cut out all the sound effects that we made with the microphone that we don't want to hear. And there is something I added. You can see down here, I've added 5 tracks of sound effects. And these are basically called ambient sound effects because they run all the time and they define the room that something is happening in. So I'm just going to play the first line here. Turn it up a little bit. It should be the scene. Yep. It's very very low. I just have to turn it on a little bit. So we have some wind going on. So we know it's taking place outside. Then we add some more wind to make sure it's dark. Then we add some cicadas and some grasshoppers to make it sound like it's in the night. Then we add some more atmosphere. And in the end, to make it really spooky, we're adding owls. And we're adding the wolves. So it's spooky, it's outside, it's night. So this ambience track actually carries a lot of information that is part of the scene that you can't see. Because it's going to be pitch black, nobody knows what's happening. There's no backdrop, there's no lights, but the ambience is actually telling you when and where it's taking place. So if you play it all together,
No!
Go back where you came from! Get out!
it
And you too!
becomes like a radio play.
Leave her alone!
So you have a 1 minute.
No, I
Suddenly
can't
know
come with
where
you.
it's taking
Tomorrow
place,
is the
at which time
Festival
of the
of
day,
Lights.
and at which
What are you going to tell the keepers if they see me?
The Festival of Lights is a celebration of love.
and it suddenly gets atmosphere. So you suddenly start getting goosebumps when you hear that. The next thing that is a really complicated one is adding sound effects. I'm going to show you this one. This is when I further work on this. You can see it's becoming a radio play, basically. So we're taking the dialogue that is already there, and we're adding several layers of sound effects to make this work. Like I'm going to single out just this one. Like you hear the little evil sounds that the pig rats make, because it's like creatures in the night that start attacking them. And you make sure they sound like you don't want to meet these guys. I'm not sure what actual sound this is. I think it's screaming of pigs, like pitched down half the speed. And you want more of them. So you layer them. And you want to become more and more because there's more coming. I'm going to show you another layer. And they have little scary feet, and they run through the grass and they're following you. So that's the sound they make. And of course, again, it's a lot of them. So we're layering that. That's actually me in front of a microphone, like shaking some straws and doing that. Like this little cocktail decoration that have like the flower on top. I'm shaking that in front of the microphone to make that sound like little creatures. Yeah, take different takes of that. And at some point, we have the big dragon come in. This is what's happening in the tracks down here. I think I did them. I'm at the wrong. So the sounds are actually like the roar of a tiger that we pitch down, and you have all the heavy impact sounds that will tell you that this creature is big, that it's fierce, it's going to kill you, and it's really, really heavy. And when you play this together, with the ambient sound and the really crappy dialogue that you had. It started sounding good.
Shit! Shit! Damn! Oh no! No! Not the fire! No! Not the fire!
Eyes out with my life! Yes, I'm coming to you!
And that's how it goes on. And that's how you build the scene, because the sound tells a big part of the story that you can't actually play. So it builds you a sense of scale and how fierce the creatures actually are. Because you saw all the makeshift sound effects that we did during the rehearsal, it really made you laugh. But it actually just gave Jerry goosebumps when I played it. So I know it's right. When it gives your sound engineer goosebumps, you know everything works. And this is actually the track that I then save, and I send it to Scotland, to Fox Moore. And he then scores this thing like it's a movie, which is really, really amazing to me because I have no idea how he does it. And the music basically acts like an amplifier. It basically takes the emotions that all the scenes have, and it actually adds a layer. This is the music track right here, and I can play you just the music track. This is how it sounds without everything else. And it gives you this ominous feeling that something is going to come. And then eventually the pig rats are crawling up with the host they're going to attack. It's really dramatic. It's like Jaws, you know, the sharks are coming. And then suddenly the big snapdragon appears. And that alone gives me goosebumps. I don't know how you're feeling. This really sounds like a movie now. And eventually when they... And then suddenly you have all that dramatic dialogue, and there's also music in the dialogue that underscores what they're talking about. If they're sad, if they're happy, what's happening. But at the same time, we call it underscore, because it does not really it's not spectacular music by itself. But and it makes sure that it never gets in the way of the dialogue. But we do have certain cue lines in the dialogue that are triggering different parts of the music. Fast forward. You can see at the end of the story of that scene, there's hope. They're going to move on, and yes, Frostwood is telling her, "Oh yes, I'm going to help you, and you can come with me."
Best night of the year, not your worst. You'll be safe at my house, I promise. My name is Riverson. What's yours?
And that's how it works. And now, let's just for fun, let's play a few seconds of just everything together. Might clip a little bit.
Hello? Is there anybody out there? Shit! Shit! Damn! Oh no! No! Not the fire! No! Not the fire!
now that we have that soundtrack, that we have all that layers, the problem is when we play this on stage, all the timing is going to be unpredictable because there will be audience reactions. You don't know how long the actors are going to play this. If you just exported this and we played this and we tried to like play to it, it would totally not work. Because if there's just one moment of audience clapping, of audience laughing, or someone losing a line, they will get out of sync. So this is the first step we have in doing the soundtrack. What we now do is I'm taking parts of this and I'm ripping it all apart. We're pretty much scoring it like you would a computer game. There are certain cues in the dialogue that will initiate certain change in the soundtrack, and there are certain cue lines where specific sound effects are triggered. For example, you can see there are markers up here. So I took parts from the big mess you saw earlier here. So I took part of this big cloud of noises, and I basically keep separating them into different parts.
And these markers are the same markers you found earlier in the script where it says SND 0101.
So basically we have here one part of my threads where the noise goes like, hello, is there someone? Then there's another cue line that triggers the pig reds attacking. And just like that in the script, we also have like lines that will take you when to stop the sound effects. So we're intentionally making them a little bit longer than we need, and we fade them out at specific times. And you have the pig reds running away. Then you have rivers from fighting. And this is all elements that you saw earlier in that big cloud. We just separated them so they make sense, so we can trigger them at the time they actually played. Then we have like the cup, the snapdraw, or the sequence. And that's basically how we rip everything apart. Everything of this has been like apart. Yes?
You said, and we can add them as they're being supposed to be played.
Yes.
I'm a little confused. Are these things that you're actually inserting in the live show or something?
Yes. These are the actual cues I'm playing in the live show.
So it's not all one continuous pre-recording?
Exactly. You can't.
Okay.
You can't. When you play, all the voices are live, and all the sound effects actually have special cues in the soundtrack. In the script that tell me when to play them. So as early as I get this stuff finished, the better I can learn when the sound effects are coming. And sometimes we have parts of the choreography that are triggered by the sound effects. So people are waiting for a certain sound to play, and sometimes I'm waiting for certain words to be said. So I know, okay, now is the time to start this.
Yeah, the curtain opens and nothing happens.
It happens.
Puppeteers waiting.
And I'm waiting for them.
Waiting. And then, the door sound, clap, and then they come in.
Yeah. We do the same with the soundtrack. I will zoom in this for a little because the soundtrack, as we get it from Fox & Moore, is basically a movie score. And I'd like to show this. This is one of the first music cues we heard. And one of the things, I have no idea how long I'm supposed to play this, because the scene may take longer. They may take a little more time to get in, or whatever. So what I do it like computer game developers do it. I will take some part of this original score, I will cut it, and I will just basically duplicate it. So I will repeat parts and basically turn this into an endless track that I can fade in the moment it's needed, and I can fade out the moment I don't need it. Like here. So basically, when the puppeteers take a really long time, it's going to sound silly, but there's never going to be any silence when that happens. And even the part when there's that complex. Jump into any part. And basically starts going from a certain point again. And that's how we put together the soundtrack. We have sound cues and we have music cues. And that's how we put it all together. And when we're done with this, and you eventually have saved all these things. I will have separate wave files which compromise any part of that thing. And full scoring for the music, for example, takes roughly like 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how much time Proximo has, which is pretty good. He has pretty high professional standards. I think if you have time to write the music for movies, if you don't count the actual recording of things, because he does it all electronically, he's doing it quite fast. I think you have about the same time when you're doing it professionally. And yeah, all in all, the score for Keepers of the Light has 77 minutes of continuous music without loops. And just for scale, the Aliens original soundtrack by Jerry Goldsmith, it has like 39 minutes. So it's an amazing amount of music we're talking about here. And yeah. Now I need this one and this one. This is the actual software we use to play at the convention. It's called SoundQ System. It's basically a program that is designed for theater stations like we do. And you can see all the numbers of the sound cues that we have played earlier here on the left side. It's identical to the markers in this script and the project you saw earlier. And now you have descriptions of what it actually does. You have like dark forest, spooky, scary pig, reds 1, scary pig, reds 2. And the thing that is very important for me, I have cue lines here. It takes me which line I'm supposed to wait for to trigger the next sound effect, because I can't read along the script. On the other hand, there's like, I think there's about 300 of these sound cues for an entire show that I have to keep track of. And there's a couple of cues that I can trigger by just playing a button. This is all the sound cues that are going to be used during sword fights or if something falls down. So I'm basically triggering them like pressing a key here on the keyboard. So, and I can let people fight, I can just react to the movement on stage. There's also sequential cues, that's the one I'm using here. So I can say, first scene starts, and it will start the aliens. And then I'm basically waiting for, I think for Pan doing the right lights. And she will eventually see, there must be a way out of this ticket. Hello? Is there any out there? Oh shit. Oh no. No, don't knock my light. Don't let it end this way. No, no, get off! Get off! Ah! Ah! Help! Help! No, the laptop's attacking me! Don't attack everybody! That's the first time. They have to do that choreography. Eventually, that was like the second try. And then she's crying, oh, help, help! Is anyone out there? Yeah, I'm over here! Help me! Ah! Get out of here, or I will burn your ugly eyes out with my light! It was like, here, take this one! Take that! Ah, I've got you! And then you can hear all the music cues are switching, all the actual sound effect cues are working together, and eventually the scene will end. So you have got a very, very short version of that scene. And that's how we're putting it back together again. So I have my cue lines, and I programmed everything in the software, and I'm going to trigger it when it's needed. Simple, isn't it? All right. Yes. We are losing time. I'm going to show you a very short excerpt of the finished scene, but I'm going to like break it because we're running out of time. This is how the finished scene looks like.
Light so pure, light so true. I give myself to you. Keep on moving, girl. One step after another. There must be a way out of this thicket. Hello? Is there somebody out there? Oh, shit. No, 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 no! Oh, no, not the fire! Please, God's not the holy mount! Don't let it end this way! No! No! Get up! No! Ah! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get away!
Yeah, that's basically how we do it. And this is all the work that went into that scene.
1 of 11 scenes.
Yes, one out of 11 scenes.
Yeah, 1 out of 11. So now we're 30 minutes behind, and stage has to try to cover up for this again.
I don't think we're that bad, are we?
No, no.
We're actually quite good. We started
we're quite
like
on,
50 minutes late, so it's not that bad. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're talking about stage and the evolution, how it developed.
Yeah, if you see the Keepers of the Light, which was the last show, it was a development that started like 15 years ago. And 15 years ago, this puppet show took place on this thing you see on the screen right now. It's 4 meter wide, 1 meter deep, 1 meter 20, I think, high. It could barely hold 3 people playing on knees on mattresses that we snatched from the youth hostel. And the 3 things in front of it, this is all the lighting, it's just, yeah.
It was light on, light off.
This
work,
thing
light
here,
on,
yes,
light
it was
off.
basically like 3 light bulbs that was like
It was
this.
3 light bulbs and some fixtures that we probably brought from our bed stands, and yeah, that was lighting. And back then it was just playing to acting to playbacks.
This is Icebook's personal masturbation cabin.
Yeah,
And they took it
But
away from me.
It was a perfect place for a hidden kettle pile.
Yes.
So
You can see the hand puppets we used back then, and we basically did like lip syncing to music.
yeah.
So this is year 7, this is a year later.
So this is the first show that had or tried to have a story.
Yes.
And yeah, we realized quickly that playing on our knees for more than, I'd say 15 minutes, could be really, really pain. So we tried different things. So this is a half-height stage that goes a little already in the direction that we have.
Yes, and it integrated with the main stage with
Yeah.
the new. And
But-
we do have professional lighting.
Yeah,
now.
this time we rented pro lighting. But the stage itself was makeshift out of plywood and cardboard.
Yeah, exactly. 1 year later.
1 year later, you see that we found out it all looks better if you have a clean black background. It still is cardboard and black cloth, but we're getting slowly into the direction where we want to go.
Yes. And for the first time, and it is something that we couldn't do before, is that we are actually mounting pieces of backdrop here. So we have the logo and the map. We didn't have fully painted backdrops yet, but we started mounting things. Yes, and we're skipping ahead fast. This is EF10.
Yes, this is EF10, and this is the first time we are using a completely built stage rig, where the play rail is integrated as part of the whole stage construction. The save on build time was about, I'd say, 1 day that we saved
Yeah, at least
just
a day.
doing this.
At least a day.
Um,
We
what-
still had the background stuff going on
Yeah,
with
just
the
wanted to say that what still is unique that the black back, it's not part of the metal stage construction. It was still made out of plywood and had to be constructed, and that took about like 2 days to build and put the cloth on. And after the show was done, the cloth was taken off and the wood was put in the campfire.
Exactly.
So
like we still do. If we had still had a campfire going when the pop show goes, we basically burn everything because we can't take it home. You can see we're still mounting pieces of backdrop here.
Yeah, and you see, if you can, sorry, give me one back. And you see that we already started to use all the props on the front and try to create scenic scenic effects with the fog and green lights. So it's we started from just having light to really designing light that goes with the story and going more in a theatrical direction than just a skit show.
Yeah, you can see F11 here, which is basically a step of evolution of that, because we have a bigger rig, obviously, and ta-da, you can see our backdrop construction here. So this is a picture that is part of the construction, and for the first time we're using backdrop panels. And they're going to be mounted on this thing. How did you call it again?
Igor.
No, that's the first version here.
The backdrop is.
That's backdrop. We kept giving our constructions IKEA names. So you can see you have the really nice rigging in front, and you have this makeshift plywood stuff. And this is how we would set up backdrops. We would actually use pieces of plywood and kind of balance it and trying to get it all the way up.
Yeah.
It goes really high, and this is how it looks. We have actually painted backdrops here, which are like full, which use the full surface, and we're also using stuff in front, and we have the professional rig here.
Yeah, but then it was 2 backdrop panels per scene.
Yeah. Yes, it was really small.
And that's what I still call the small stage. It was 6 meters, so we went from 4 to 6 meters, which is still our rehearsal stage, which makes it sometimes even more cramped on the rehearsal, because on the show we have a 7.50 stage. In the rehearsal we just have a 6 meter, and for some action you really see that it's missing the 1.5 meter. Especially if you pile up people for mass scenes, it gets really tight.
Exactly. This one is from the Ringberg Hotel.
Yes.
So that's when it got so complicated that we actually had to make a drawing where we couldn't make it from our just minds again, because we had a very low ceiling and we had to come up with a construction that we can both play and that people can still see. So we make a little diagram here where you can see how people's view are and where we need to put backdrops so they can see them. Because if you put them too low, it will be cut off for the majority of viewers. And I think this is the first row of people as well.
Yes.
The people in the first row to see everything.
Yeah, because what you the problem you have, but the thing that you have to see that the people in the front, they have to see the most important parts of the puppet. So if you follow the back, so we are at FOH, even sitting on a little podest, we have a perfect view of the scene, but the people in the first row, they have to look all the way up. And so if the angle isn't set right, I just see the ears of the main character for the whole show, and that's not what we want. So we have to really clear the angles and see if everything is visible even before we go there and build stuff.
Yeah. I didn't find a picture of just the puppet stage, so you see the whole construction and see how big it's actually become.
Yeah.
I think that's EF15. Yeah. And you can see that the puppet show is actually a little hole in the back, and this is already this is a 6 meter. It's a 6 meter. It's a 6 meter stage. So you can see that it's already 6 meters wide, and it's still part of the main stage.
The Ringberg stage was 10 meters, had 6 meters in the middle, and the 2 banners.
One of the biggest differences we have here now that we're no longer using that plywood construction. Yeah. We're actually using an extension of the truss. If you look at the diagram again, here it goes. And yeah, you can see the front of house. It's become a little thing, and this is how we started to mount the backdrops. We have a system that's called Igor, which is basically like a V-shaped receptacle that some screws that we have on the back of the backdrop panels basically fall into. So all you need is 2 guys and basically roughly hitting that thing and dropping the backdrop panel, and it will just hang because it has a special V-shaped hook construction that it will basically fall into. So this is a side view.
What I don't have, what's not in this diagram is the actual measurements. So from the ground up, which is where just the player button came up. To the top of the play rail, which it says Sichtlinie, which is the sight line, that would be about 1.60 meters already.
Yes.
So with all these angle compensation, the lower part of the panel, which is left panel, yeah, there. So this is the lowest part. This will be roughly at 1.80 meter, 1.90 meter, and then we're adding another 1.20 meter of backdoor panel. So the hook up there is somewhere around 3 meters high. So this is quite a task to put on.
Yeah, yeah, it takes some strength. That's the wrong direction. This is how the stage adjuster looks in use. So you don't see much of that. All you know is that things look nice. You can actually see them, and you can play on them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of consideration that goes into that.
Okay.
We move on to the Maritime Hotel.
Yes, bigger stage, bigger venue, bigger everything. Now we're going to 7.50 meter stage.
And they already have a stage, basically.
And they already have a 20 fucking meter stage in there.
Yes.
So the stage was so huge that we said, okay, we're just building our puppet stage on top of the main stage. So yeah.
You can see that it's entirely independent. It's basically its own stage within the stage. You can see that the lights are in the process of being set up, so you can see it all raw. It will be covered later. And one nice thing that the Maritime stage has was these lifts. You can pull them up and move them down.
Yeah, the Maritime had a real theatrical stage. So they had this electric lift rails that all the lights and scenery elements get attached to. Something that we're lost here again.
And Igor.
And Igor, yeah, we also mounted our backdrop panel on this.
No, this was then Igor Light, because we don't need an extra construction for it. It was just attached to the flights.
Yeah, so these are basically bars that you can move up and down through these wires.
Yeah.
And this is the back of the stage. You
This
can still say the numbers. Here's the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we don't mix up the sequence of things. So it's basically still the same construction, but it's much more convenient now because we can let everything down.
Yeah, and with this, the whole lighting concept got more and more complex, because now we're lighting 2 different layers. We light from front, we light from top. The same with the second layer.
I have a couple of slides for the layers.
Okay, yeah.
We can show it. This is how it looks when the molten is on it, and it looks simple again. You basically have just a hole in the wall where people start playing puppets, and it looks easy. And that's how it's supposed to look like. And with the lights on, it looks like this.
Yes.
Yeah, we really like that. And now we're at the Astral last year. And boy, it was taking place in this room, and we had all the main rig, all the dance rig, all the puppet rig in the same room, and it was like a mixture of everything we had before.
Yeah, first time I laid my measurement in here, I said, okay, this is gonna be really, really small. I can barely fit the puppet stage into this box here.
You have a side view up here, and this is basically the main stage, and you're actually right now sitting on the main stage. That's where it was built. It was like several meters going in front of this stage.
So we just doubled the depth of the stage to fit the puppet stage behind a normal performance stage.
Yeah, you have a side view here. The audience is looking this way from here, and you can see the main rig, and you can see the puppet show rig, and no more lifts. We actually had to hoist up things ourselves again. You can see it on the top view here. This is the puppet stage, this is the main stage, and the curtain is actually here. We're sitting here right now. And
you can see that even I include the numbers in my drawings.
Yeah. You can see a picture from construction here. So this is the actual stage that is being built in front of this.
Yeah.
And this is the stage we are sitting right now. We're sitting about here. And you can again see the puppet show trussing. And what makes lighting and everything very complex is that we have 3 levels in each scene that we're going to talk about. To illustrate this, to make you understand why it is so complicated, we have a scene from the EF21 show here, and you can see that the scene is comprised of 3 levels. You have the actual stage level, we call it the play rail, I have no, that's even a word, where the characters move most of the time. Then halfway in, we have level number 2. So we have backdrops basically extended in the middle, and characters go behind and in front of it.
Or on top.
Or on top.
Yes.
And you have level number 3, that is the actual backdrops. And normally characters can't be behind that, but would do it anyway.
Yep.
And that very same scene from a 3D perspective. This is like a bird's eye view. You see the containers in the back, you see the 3 cable roads in the back, and you see the play rail in the front. So you can have like puppets run up here, hide behind this, and come back into view this way. And this is how it would look from the back if you could see it. You can see the characters here. And they're right now hiding behind the cable roads. And it's one, again, the first level, the second level, and the third level. And what makes this, we have the same thing on the stage that we did here last year, so we have the same side view that we just had. So the actual play rail is here. All the second level stuff will be mounted here, and the actual backdrops are going to be mounted here.
And if you wonder why we have a second row of podests, it is of this angle thingy that I have drawn the same thing for this stage and say, okay, we need to have some podest in there, otherwise everything you play further back and people will not see.
Now the complicated thing is that we have one stage that does everything. You have to have the regular stage shows, you have the dances, you have the puppet show, and the rig you build basically must accommodate all 3 kinds of usage. And, as we all just learned, the puppet show uses 3 levels of lighting. Each of these 3 levels have separately lighted. Because sometimes we have stuff standing there, sometimes you don't, sometimes you have dark backdrop, and you have different colors of that.
Yeah, in the picture you just showed, it is already 3 different light levels. You have to have the front where the characters are. You want to have light there because you want to see the character. Then the second one, there is the street light, so you don't want to have extra light on there because the street light in itself lights and creates the mood for the scenery.
You can see that the backdrops are lighted blue.
And then you want to have the backdrops blue because we're in a night scene and we want to have a little bit of moonlight on there.
Exactly. So if you want to have all stuff in one rig, this is basically a bird's eye view of this room, the next room, and the room afterwards. And you can see all the different trussing that is used for dances and everything. And now let's put in the light fixtures. This is how it goes. Every little box here that you can see is actually a lamp that has to be planned for, that has to be connected. We have to take into consideration how much power it needs so it doesn't blow the breakers. And it has to be assigned channels on our lighting board. And I've zoomed in here so you can see just the amount that our puppet show needs. This is basically, to a large extent, every of the symbols is a piece of lighting that the puppet show needs. Sorry for that. Yes. How are the lights controlled? Well, it's a very simple system. It's a system that is called DMX. It's called Digital Multiplex. It's something that has been invented, I think, in the 80s. And basically, devices and lights are daisy chained. So you have one control cable running from your controller to your first lamp. From there, it goes to the second lamp. From there, it goes to the third lamp. It goes on like that. And theoretically, you can have like 512 lamps on one cable. It's exactly the kind of setup that this stage uses at the moment. The Swiss puppet show, which are going to who are going to have their show today here, they are the kind to let us use their stage and their equipment to have this little talk. And maybe Zana could give you a little demonstration of how it works. It's really simple. Basically, every one of these lights get a number assigned. There's actually switches on each of these things where you can say this one is number 1, this one is number 5, this is number 10. And I wanted to show you this on camera, but my cable is too short, so you have to look back there at Sanavo and see what he's doing. Is the cable enough for you to actually show everybody the pages, or will it just break everything?
Let's see. Maybe
so
like this.
At very simple, you're using like a control desk like this. So it's a very simple show, and you can turn on the colored lights, and each of the faders he's moving is basically turning on or dimming the lights that have the number assigned that the fader has. So that's the basic principle of things.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah. So you can turn it on and off different lights that you have assigned to the fader. Now imagine the diagram I just showed you. There was like, I don't know how many lights there are. There's like a couple of hundred lights. So you obviously don't want to put everyone on a different fader because you're running out of fingers really fast. So we have a more complicated lights desk at the actual show where you can like program scenes and go like that. And you can basically say, I want scene 1, I want scene 2. And it will memorize the different light setups that you have.
It's kind of what you have with the sound, just for lighting.
Yes. If you are very curious, you can have a look at the lighting desk that we're using at the main stage over there. As long as you don't touch everything, it's out in the open, you can look at it. If you've already volunteered for doing some lighting during the dances, you probably know already a little bit of how it works. And yeah. This is all I'm going to tell you now because it would get really, really technical. I just want to make you realize that we really have an awful lot of lights to control. And if something in that setup doesn't work, it really, really contributes to the delay we have. You have a question?
Is there a way to link the audio software that you're using to the lighting software?
Theoretically,
so
yes.
Will loop the other if you're deciding to do a loop.
It would be possible to do it, but and in a big real theater environment, you would do it. So you would have a lighting designer design the show, program the show, and then it would run on a time control. But since we don't have the facility, like work in the stage for like 2 weeks to install the show, we go with going a 2-person operation where everyone is responsible for the timing of its part of the show.
Yeah.
And, I just dug up a couple of numbers from the EF20 setup that was still the last one in the, thank you, was last for the Merit team. Back then we had 684 different control channels controlling 147 fixtures. And if we put everything on full on, making it really, really bright, we maxed out at 102,000 watts, just lighting. Planning these stuff took about, I would say, 4 months. And yeah, not drawing the papers, but having all the talks, all the details, all the people know what they have to do. And yeah, building it takes 4 days.
Yeah, and if it's finished, it looks like this.
Yep.
And every gun goes like, woo, and you go like, ah, this is set up. I'm so glad it's finally finished and it works. And it's really hard to make this work. I think next up we're going to talk just briefly about sound, how it works.
Yeah, I think we covered a great deal of the sound stuff. Basically, Cheater has the software, the sound cue system software that plays out the sound. And it doesn't come in just a stereo pair. So he's giving me 4 stereo pairs, that's 8 channels. So everything from here up to here is just the playout sampler. And I have like dialogues that are pre-recorded. I have 2 channels of sound effects, the ambience that we talked earlier, and the score. So if some piece of the dialogue gets very dramatic, I can emphasize this with adding the score to it.
The keepers are coming! The keepers are coming!
So you
Quick!
have the voices.
Make sure you're home when they come, or you won't get your presents!
Do you know what you're going to get?
I want a rocking horse!
I'm going to get my own hunting knife.
How do you know?
I just know. And I also know what you are going to get.
Oh, tell me!
No, I know you're a telltale.
I'm not, I won't, I swear, not even Mom! Come on!
And what's in for me?
Snowbell, Sunchaser, get your little party behind over here right now.
And if you think,
I'm coming, Mommy!
if you
Wait for
think
me!
You really can't hear like the speech or the microphones are too low. You can always adjust the score, the ambience, the sound effects that are not right here, and also some of the voices are actually pre-recorded, being running out of actors sometimes or out of microphones, so there are single lines that are pre-recorded. You are using these 2 channels over here. So the very interesting thing about how we do this is that the software I've showed you already actually plays out all the different things on different channels. And you can actually change the mix on the fly to see how it works in a big room and how the actors are walking about. This is cool. We should just leave this on. Yeah. That's the way sound works. That's the way live sound works. It also looks very, very easy, but you have like dialogue going over the score, and you have to duck down the score so you can hear the dialogue, because otherwise the dialogue will be just overwritten by the sheer amount of sound that you have.
Yeah. And we cut it down on the playback channels. I mean, we now have 4 pairs. A couple of years ago, we did 4 channels surround. So that added another 2 pairs for surround channels for the SFX and the ambiances.
Yep.
So I kind of needed a full desk just to mix down the backing score for the show, and then we added like 6, 7, 8 live microphones.
Yes. It's much bigger than this one, but the principle of operation is the same. We are basically mixing every part of the score that I showed you earlier live there. Now I'm losing a little bit track.
We are on the last page.
Yeah, I have to look at my own notes, what is going to be next. It stopped playing the sound right there. Try it again. It really doesn't like us. We decided to show some stuff that we think is really cool. That we can do with stage technology.
Yeah.
It hates me. It doesn't like to play it. Just let me shut down all the other things that are going in.
I think SCS is.
It's probably
hogging.
It's probably hogging my computer. So did I close it? It's closed now, right?
Yeah, this nice sound cue system software, as nice as it is, sometimes it gives you
I don't know for how long I've been working in this company, but if it was for longer than 5 minutes, it's a miracle I'm still alive.
This shows you very nicely what you can do if you have stage limits. Like you can simulate an elevator. This is really fun when nobody expects it. You just have to make the plans appear. Derek didn't remember that one. This is how we use the same effect. It was a very nice thing that we were able to use at the Maritime Hotel and we can't use anymore.
The black things you see peeking out on top of the panels, these are the hooks that we're attaching the panels to.
We made parts of the backdrop movable so it works like more.
And if you listen to her voice gets lower and then there's the big ambient reverb, that's something that's not loud.
So we're simulating the train and it works. You don't like playing these parts, do I mention that? And while we are showing off, this is a thing I recorded myself on, so it's a little bit jerky. So you see a little bit how this is our backstage monitor, where we can actually, from the front of house, we have like an infrared camera that shows us what's going on behind the stage and telephones. And what we did is we set up for the EF18 show, no, EF17 show. We set up a little hidden stage that was just observed by a girl. You can see it here. This is our little hidden stage. And we used it to put live stuff that was supposed to take place with different parts on the projection screen.
Secret government
But it was actually played live.
But be aware,
this on the projection screen.
as I am going to be your new emperor for all, the responsibility of making sure something like this can never happen again is in your hands.
So he had a little own hidden stage that you couldn't see with a little.
Your freedom is a fundamental human right.
And he was supposed to do it via Skype or video conferencing.
And now, I wish you all a wonderful night.
I'm sorry.
Take care, my friends.
I can't hear my own voice. I'll give you another explanation. So this was a little stage that was hidden behind the real stage and was filmed by a little surveillance camera. And we had one of the characters come in live via telephone, basically. And we had him act live on that second stage so everything would keep in sync and we could like improvise and properly act. And this is the little stage we built there. And the video at first showed you how I was walking behind the stage and showing you where actually it was located.
And you can see by the keyboard how small the stage is, actually.
Yep.
It's about as wide as Null is, maybe double the size of Null, and a meter in the back. And there was Tiger's Eye and me sitting there in the stage. And I was leaning on him. He was leaning on the back of the stage, I was leaning on him, and then we were playing inside the stage.
Here you can see how you, Here you can make how you make soap bubbles float up. The problem with soap bubbles as a replacement for bubbles in water is that usually they float down because they are heavier than air. But what we wanted is actual bubbles floating up. So we built a bubble machine that first leaks with helium instead. That's what you could see before that. So I'm going to go back. Sorry. I'm going back to that scene. So you can see we have a big bottle of helium here and a hose that goes to the bubble machines, and we actually modified it so it would fill bubbles with helium so they would float up. And then we put like UV reactive paint in them so you could see them in the dark, which caused the biggest mess I have ever seen. But they will eventually burst and will have like UV fallout over all the stage. And the actors can see the UV lights on the bottom here. And in the end it looked like this. So it's that little details that really take a lot of attention. But they float up, they look like water bubbles. Air bubbles, air bubbles in water. And then of course something you really like to brag about is the reactor thing that we had last year. I'm going to show you some construction pictures later. So this thing had its own lighting, it could move up and down, and you could play puppets in it from below. And of course, it made for the most epic dying scene we've ever done. And again, you can see what the different Proximus score makes. I want to actually direct this. Yeah.
You need a conductor's stick for that.
Okay, I'm going to stand up for this one so people can finally see me while we get through this presentation. Last part I want to talk about is production design, and that is everything that is not a puppet and that is not part of the stage. So we have these descriptions that are in the script that will take you, that will basically tell you how you're going to imagine that scene. But it's definitely not enough description for anybody to build a scene. So here we have the main light core control room, that's the fusion reactor. This is both reactor chamber and main control room, conveniently located right next to each other, Star Trek style. The back wall is filled with blinking lights and computer screens. The scene is dark, possibly use of UV. On the second level, there is a platform with a huge control console. The control console has a holder for a keeper staff in the middle. There is a small keypad and a video console near the entrance. And how are you supposed to build this? And this is when Tani Dareel comes in. Because probably must be at the beginning, she is helping us in doing sketches for how the stage setup is going to work. And these are composites. Actually, it's 3 layers in Photoshop, but I'm just going to show it here. And what is on the front layer actually has these green outlines. And this tells how the backdrop panels are going to be painted. This is one of those backdrop panels. This is the second backdrop panel. And this is the third one, and this is basically what we use as the basis for building stuff that is put up on the second and the third level. Usually, I draw this with Tani, and we send it to Icebooks. He says, no, you've got to have everything the wrong way around. It's not left, it's right, and this gets, and we make our corrections, and you can see how it actually works. We have basically 1 week to get these backdrops, 1 weekend to get these backdrops finished, because it takes a lot of work, and you gather around all the volunteers you can find, as many artists you can find, and you show them these kits and said, go. Because if you talk about this, it's a lot of work that needs to be done. When we meet at this weekend and we have all the volunteers there, usually this is a few scenes that you see. Everyone starts building the stuff that you can't build during rehearsals. So Theo and company are building the reactor here right now. We have some camo nets that are going to be the forest. We have some printed things, like this is one of the glass stained windows that we're going to have. So we need to stick that on. Some backdrop panels like these are going to have holes in them. And here right now we're cutting out parts of what is going to be a door. And as you can see, the material we're using, it's like medium density fiber boards. So it's like the thing that you need when you're building a cupboard and you want back wall. That's basically that kind of cardboard we're using. And we paint on that because it doesn't wrinkle. You can easily transport it, and it's really actually cheap. And it holds all kinds of paint that you might have. Here
you can
is
stick paper on it.
exactly. Here you see Luno painting one of the backdrop images.
Oh.
And as you can see, one of these things is like 1 meter 20 by 2 meter 40. 3 of these make one scene. We have up to 12 scenes, so worst case is we need 36 of them, all painted. Quite obviously, this is too much work for one weekend, so usually we try to make it as simple as possible. Like we have gaps in the scene where nothing is, or if it's hidden by something on the second level, we just leave it out. And if it's possible, we recycle them. So we have, like, we ship them one panel and we just add one, or we have the same scenery going twice.
Or like last year in the first scene, we don't have a backdrop at all.
Yes, exactly. We just leave out the lights, which is the easiest part. Everyone goes like, how about the backdrop of that scene? None. Yes, next. So this is basically one of our backdrop building weekends, and you can see there's like activity all over the place. We have usually one or more artists who are there coordinate the whole thing. It's usually Risa, our backstage manager, who helps coordinating this. They usually make a printout of all the sketches to take with them, and usually we have someone who's extremely like a professional artist. Like on the left you see Henrike, on the right you see Blue Panther, and they know how to paint. So they're giving instructions to all the volunteers, and they are basically drawing outlines. They color this green, color this red, color this blue, and then they will later fill in the details about this. And we're using these backdrop panels that are made of cardboard, and before you start painting on them, you actually have to prime them and give them a base color. And so if you have to do this to like 30 panels, it takes a while. So Olaf recorded this little time lapse where you can see what happens when you have to prime all these panels. And I think usually like half a day or a full day is just spent.
Half a day, yeah.
Yeah, so it takes a lot. This is how it works. Next up, I'm going to show you some comparisons. On the top, you see the sketch, and on the bottom, you see how it's actually been done. So the sketch doesn't show as many details, but it shows where everything is going to be and what colors are supposed to be used. And you can see the living room down here is actually on the second level, so you can walk behind it. These blue backdrops have completely different lighting, as you can see, because they are on the third level. So they have the outside light, the blue outside night light, and the inside part is on the second level. It has a different kind of lighting there. But it's pretty close to the sketch. Same here. As you can see, the character is walking behind the second level, which is marked here with the green outlines. Same with the tree stump, where someone comes out. Or here, which is actually mounted on the first and second level, so you can walk in between them. Here's another scene. It actually has the same colors, but the lighting changes the colors because it's in the night. And another one, you can see that we basically told everyone, okay, there's supposed to be some cages here, and then we took actual bunny cages and put them up here as our lab testing cages. And for the first time, we are also using backlighting. So we have holes in the backdrops and another set of lighting, which is our fourth level now. And you can actually walk behind these because we have like a podium that goes behind the backdrop. Because you no longer have lifts, you have to hang them. And we built them in a way that you can walk up the platforms and you can actually put on the panels from behind. So you don't have to lift them like 3 meters high. The nice thing about this is that you can now have another level of lighting, which is our 4th level. And you can have shine-through windows like this one. You saw BP preparing the printed foil earlier, and you can see we have a 4th level character playing here that you can only see the shadow of, because he's in prison and she is hiding behind the window, and she's going like, "Psst, I'm over here." You can just see the shadow moving. And this is Blue Panther being all professional. And yeah, this is just another example of a see-through thing that we used. Yeah, you can see some construction pictures of the reactor I showed you earlier in various stages. It had its own lighting built in that was also controlled by DMX. So there was an extra, basically, I think it was an extra universe just controlling this one. So basically it's only a cabling there. These Chinese cans here were a bitch to control. And yeah, that's our first test how it looks with the lights on.
Question?
Yes? Sure.
Here.
Yes, fire away.
Did you really use a complete flexible tube for the entire reactor?
Yes. It was, you can see it here, it was like a complete ring. It was like a bent kind of plastic.
Yeah, it wasn't a tube to begin with, it was a flat sheet. And we rolled it up.
I was wondering where to get such tubes.
It was just a flat sheet, and we rolled it up and closed the seam in the back somewhere where these support beams are, so you can't see it. And the tubing on top, the orange tubing on top, has lots of cable ties on it. It goes round and round and just keeps it in shape.
This is how it works. We put the lighting in, we did the test. Nice thing is, another thing that is pretty important is stuff like this. Next built this and he went completely overboard with the details, because it was originally in the script supposed to be like a painted piece of cardboard, and it was only used like for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And he spent an entire day building this, and we said, okay, you built a nice movie prop and we really adore it, but it's going to be in there really short. And he saved it and he's keeping it in his living room right now. And I think it's awesome. It took a lot of time, but yeah, this is another important prop. A prop is anything that is movable on stage, everything that a character can take. And like one of the lights, yeah, that's actually the original one. It has LED lights in it. Sometimes we build lights into props because lights coming from the stage is much more realistic than the kind of light that comes on the stage. So if we can, we try to make things light up that actually light. Like we have a street light, we put light in it. And this is one of the magic lights, of the keepers of the light, so obviously we wanted it to be a light. Theo is keeping like a whole €1 store at his home. This is the stuff he collects and that we build props out of. And it's basically just a few cents each, and you never know what you're going to use it for. So he's basically boxes and boxes of stuff. And when we come up with ideas for props, he's going to build it or he's going to write the parts. Sometimes you have to be very careful what you write in your script. So at one point I wrote in the script, and then some chickens are running around for atmosphere, and people actually started building animatronic chickens. And I never knew until they were there. I was like, what the heck are the chickens? And they said, it's right there in the script. I was like, holy fuck. How much time did you spend on these? It's like, oh, a couple of days. Like, I need to be more careful with writing stuff like this.
And then the most epic light show begins.
And here the most epic light show begins. That's another line from my script. And he wrote the most epic light show now. So it kind of works. Sometimes you can't just put everything into the script. I think if you know the first part of the Lord of the Rings, where they're crossing the bridge of Khazad-dûm, and you have this long fighting scene with the Balrog that comes up and the bridge that breaks down. In the script, it just says, and the Balrog attacks them while they cross the bridge. That's it. And yes, sometimes you just have to plan things differently than the script. This is a really nice prop that was easy to make. It was just a small fire extinguisher, and he uses to cool down the two people fighting. And it basically costs nothing, but it makes that really nice fog effect, so we use that, because it's like spitting out CO2. Not sure if you can see this on the projection. One thing that lights up is like these electric shock rods that the keepers of the light use. And they have like a flash bulb in it, or really bright LED, and a little microcontroller that controls the flashing and stuff like that. And there's a button on the stuff where you can make them light up. And at the same time, I always have like my finger on the sound wheel going psst when they work like that. Yeah, another nice prop. It goes like I think you heard it in my demo. It's one of the comedic things, and he's getting beaten up over the head with that thing. Yeah, this is one of the human remains they find. It's like a big burned up poster, like Attack of the 50 Feet Women, and it shows that they obviously used to be like a human civilization, and they're taking that for granted. Like, oh, humans, they've been like 50 feet great, if they must have been the mystic figures that ruled the earth. So yeah, that's about the production design. We have a long list of props. Usually. Rita and Zephyro go through the script and they compile a list of props that are supposed to be made, and they both supervise. They basically assign props to be built. We have that long list of props, and they go like, "Who volunteers?" And then everyone runs away. And yeah, we eventually get this stuff built. So we don't really have a process for it. Basically, everyone whose time has to build props. Yeah, there's not much to tell about that. Okay, yes, Rita is up here with me now at the moment, because one of the things we are going to try, if you have the patience, and it's probably going to go really, really wrong, we're going to use the Swiss Puppet Show stage, and we're going to try to play the first scene of last year's show for you with what we have left of it.
It's going to be like our first rehearsal.
Basically, it's because we've all forgotten how to play it, and we have like 4 meters instead of 8, and
it's about the right height.
Yes, we don't have all the props, and the snapjaw we had to disassemble it to transport it. It's missing some of the electronics. It's going to be fun because we haven't played this in a year, and we will see how it works without rehearsing. I hope everybody has a readable version of the script somehow. If not, you will have to make up. You will have to make up your dialogue. Yeah, but actually, when we got through all the rehearsals and we have all the props and the script is finished and we have all the sound effects and the lighting has been planned and the lighting has been built, the dress rehearsal is the first time we get to try it, which leads to a lot of surprises. Yeah.
Oh, indeed, and every stage is new. Every year we get something different. And that's what, may take some time. Yes,
if you're ever running where we have like a 3-hour delay, it's because things fuck up and you don't see it coming.
Oops. So can I then have the puppeteers please vote Marco check on 10 for each?
Yeah, that's what we do on dress rehearsal also. It's like, okay, we get our microphone packs, everything set up because we are playing with the headset microphones because you can't hold your script and your microphone and your puppet. Basically, it's really not going to work. So you need something like this, and we're going to check if everything works and change batteries, and then we go behind the stage and one of them fails.
Yes.
Always. So
the moment you're trying to plug in the fog machine, something you try to plug in the fog machine and find out that there is not actually a socket to plug it into. Because there is no socket at this place of the stage. Someone was supposed to put it there, but it's not there. And somebody is running for an extension cable. And it just takes time to find out how that works. Yeah.
Something and
So we're leveling the microphones. That's the first thing. The first thing we do before the show. Sometimes we're doing it before each scene. Sometimes everyone reads a line from the script before the curtain actually opens.
That's my normal
especially when we have not enough microphones for all the actors and need to switch them.
It's going to get really loud, so you will turn it down then. Otherwise, everyone is.
Luckily, in this scene we're going to play, we only have 2 streaming roles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we chose a scene with as few actors as possible. So, we'd still be playable here.
And I'm going to mess up all the sound cues. Okay. we're trying how the dialogue level between those two works.
Als Fuchs.
Huh? I'm here.
I can see you.
Yeah, you can see me?
I can't.
Well, that's okay. I can't see you as well.
Yeah, I asked for it.
Oh, there you are.
Yes, there I am.
Yeah. So do you have your script, everything ready?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, microphone checked.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Don't have it with me right now, you can see that. So.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Okay, good.
Okay,
And we have a light, so you're safe.
great. My great hero in the...
It's really easy because we have only 2 microphones level. In some scenes we have like 8, because everybody is speaking. Say a few words about that picture. Hello, you're cute.
Okay, what you can see is preparations going on before the show starts.
Oh.
We have a team which only takes care that all the props are in one place and all the actors know where to find them. We also have, let's say for the Pompeii show, we had a separate team which only takes care of the clothing for the puppets. When they have to change clothing between the scenes, they do only this. And believe me, try to fit a pullover to one of the puppets, it's going to take ages.
You can try it later actually. We have some clothing here and you can try putting it on a puppet.
Okay, so we also check, are all the puppeteers required for this scene really on stage? And we also check, do they have their props? And as you can see, one prop is missing, so I'll do that.
Okay, did you talk about the slide? Because I was distracted. That's one of the things. Risa is the backstage manager, and she's right now making sure everyone's at the right position and knows where to play, and they're trying to fit everything into the space they have there. If you want, there is a lighting built in here, but I don't know where.
Swiss puppeteer team, how to switch on the light?
The reading lights.
Stage. Help.
Yep, we need the guy who programmed the light just because we don't know which lighter it is. There is a light strip that is mounted in here so that people can read from their scripts even when the lights are off.
As we used to.
And we are figuring out how to turn that on. Another thing that Risa needs to do is she needs to keep track on which scenes consist of which backdrops and where they are going to put up. You see the setup of the underwater scene that we've seen last time. This field up here is reserved for backdrop panels. It doesn't have any because the actual stage that it's playing on is empty. And you can see this is the stage, and the underwater scenery is actually put up before the stage. And here is a diagram of the main stage where everything is going to be set up. And they have this as a part of a script where each page is a different scene. So the people setting up behind all the stuff know where to put it. And yes, I have some pictures from last year because we usually do the dress rehearsal. On one day, it's usually Wednesday evening, and it usually takes the entire night because it really doesn't go fast because you have to adjust so many things. Because the first time you have full lighting rig, it's the first time you have all the sound effects, it's the first time you have the microphone set up you planned for. And with a professional theater production, you'd actually rehearse on the stage that you're going to play it, and we can't afford that because everything is rented.
Built weeks before.
Yes. We're trying to approximate the actual stage, but yeah, we can't. Last year we had a big problem. My PC blew up. We had stuff at the stage that didn't go right because we didn't have enough time to set up the lighting. And we ended up having like a deadlock situation where everyone kept waiting on everyone else, and basically everyone was fixing problems. And yeah, it got later and later, and it was like 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning, and eventually it was like 8 in the morning, and we decided we can't do this. We have technical problems, we can't rehearse it. And now the regular comp programming starts, and we have no idea how to fix that. So we basically reserved all 3 slots of the stage programming we had, and we made a list of priorities of things that need to be done to make the show work. And every spare minute that was on the stage was used by us to either try out the backdrops or what else did we do?
Rehearse the scenes where a lot of people are involved.
Yes, we just rehearsed bare most important things where the choreography is It's scary. But the choreography is hard and stuff like that. But last year we ended up playing the entire show completely like without a dress rehearsal. We never rehearsed it on the stage we had. We just said we have to wing it.
We had no choice.
We put like 9 months of work into the show, and we had a problem with the setup that we couldn't solve. And so, yeah, with 3 hours delay, we barely made everything work, or at least we thought it works. We tested the most important things, and we basically went on stage. We said, "Go, let's play it." Just you know how the scene goes. So basically, what we're doing now, exactly.
Right. So usually, Cheetah is not right in front of the stage, obviously. He's way back there.
Yeah.
And our communication is via a telephone, just for the stage. And what I do, I ask one question backstage. Puppetry is ready?
Puppetry is ready.
I call Cheetah. Hello, Cheetah.
Hello.
This is backstage. We are ready.
Yep. We have probably power cycled the camera, so we have put up a makeshift camera up there and a television up there. So there's a more than zero chance that I can see what is going on because we have the stage behind us. And the camera has decided it's in a shop now and wants to play the demo. So I have no idea if you can turn that off.
Yeah.
And yes, one thing I might try. Is give you a little view of what is actually going on behind the stage.
Do you have a backstage camera here?
I'm trying to improvise on it.
Yeah, the snap kind of doesn't do great.
Oh gosh.
They're still trying to find the position, so.
We got it.
We set this up, and no, someone took off the extension. So much for that. So I can't show you what's going on behind there. It was planned that way, but change the cable sit doesn't work. So we are just closing this. Exactly. I have to start this one. So that's what I usually do. I sit down here. I get my script. I said ignore all error messages because it's too late anyway.
You don't want to see if anything goes wrong right now.
Yeah. So I start seating view from other PC, which I don't have. So we're not doing anything here. So yes, I think sound is ready. And yes, Talo, can you please kill the main lights? I hope you have the lid props there. Does the snap draw actually light up?
Yes.
Okay. Do the snap draws light up? Awesome. That means, well, I say go.
Go.
Oh gosh.
Light so bright, light so blue. Please answer me. Light so bright, so pure, light so true. I give myself to you. Keep on moving, girl. One step after another. There must be a way out of this thicket. Hello? Is there somebody out there? Oh shit! No! No! Out! Damn! Oh no! Not alive! God, not the hardware, help me! Don't let it hand this way! No! 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 Get up! Get up! No! Get up! Get up! No!
You filthy beast! Get the hell out of here! I'll burn your ugly eyes out with my light! Yes, I'm talking to you. You! Filthy, stinking rat! Out of here! Out! Out! That'll teach him. Hey. Are you okay?
Yes.
Oh. Everything will be alright. Are you okay?
Yes.
That was close. Every child knows that a simple torch won't keep the night's creatures away. What on earth were you doing out here without a proper light?
They tried to kill me. I ran away.
It's okay. Don't worry, you're safe now. My light will keep them away.
No, you don't understand.
Look, I know how getting lost in the woods alone can mess with your head. My village is not far away. Can you walk? I'm sure everything will be better once you had a warm meal.
No, I can't come with you. Tomorrow is the Festival of Lights. What are you going to tell the keepers when they see me?
The Festival of Lights is a celebration of love. What objections could the keepers possibly have against someone giving shelter to another who's lost?
More than you can possibly imagine. No, I can't come with you. You saved my life. You deserve better than the trouble I caused you. I've got to go. Go on, and thank you.
Don't be silly. Look at yourself. I'm not going to let you die out here. Festival night should be one of the best nights of the year, not your worst. You'll be safe at my house, I promise. My name is River Song. What's yours?
Frostwind.
Pleased to meet you, Frostwind. Here, take my hand. There's a warm fire waiting for us.
Thank you.
Come on. This way.
And curtain. You can tell we totally messed up the cue with the snap drawer because obviously they couldn't hear the sound effects and they didn't know when they were supposed to come up. Because usually we have like a pair of monitor speakers behind the stage that will play the same sound that the audience can hear. Because if you're behind the stage, you're really, really far removed from the audience and you can't really hear what is going on. And so you have an extra set of speakers behind the stage so you can hear what you're actually doing. Thanks a lot, puppeteers. I wouldn't have expected we were playing this ever again. So
yeah, this is probably the first time we are playing one part of our show more than once.
I really want to play this show again now. Why didn't we do this? Because it's so much more fun if you don't have the stress.
I was so waiting for the opening titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the opening title on this PC, at least I don't think so. If you want to see more backstage material.
Well, I have to ask Fox to play tonight in the concert. Because I really need this track now.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube and look for a Paw Patrol backstage video. Was BBF did a quite an extensive making of video of the EF19 show, where you can see footage of the backstage video and everything, and my PC crashing and everything that's funny to everyone but me, and stuff like that.
Yeah, where we had to improvise half a minute of dialogue just because the sound PC always crashed when he played the cell phone ringing tone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, we heard that and looked at each other and then, okay, go for it. Just trying to get the cell phone back to work and trying to find out which number it was and maybe should we call back? No, we shouldn't call back. Now that's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. And it was back and forth until he restarted his PC. got back into the software, got back into the right scene, with the right cues to continue from there.
Yeah, rebooting during the show really isn't much fun. Okay, we're pretty much done with this talk, and we're a little out of time, but I think they don't kill us if we like overrun like 10 minutes. So if you want to have a look at the puppets, yeah.
Very good. One small thing. We hope you've seen it's not black magic, it's just a really shitload of work that goes into the shows. Lots of creativity, obviously, but it's not dark magic or anything. Often people are coming after the show and like, oh yeah, I wish I could do something for the show, but I can't do it and whatever. If you think like that, you're wrong, basically. Until now, everyone who's joined did something great to the show. And as you've seen, we always need more paws, hands, whatever you can lend. So if you're interested in helping out with art or playing or whatever, please come to us and also spread the word. We can really use a bit of help so we can keep on making epic shows.
And make great stuff happen. And it's not that one person has to do everything. It's really just, we have a team of over, I think if you count the volunteers at the prop building weekend, I think we have a team of 50 people now who contribute to this thing. And if you want to be one of those people, by all means, let me know. We're going to eat your soul. All right, yeah, we have some, if you have some questions and if we should give you some answers, this would be a good time. Yes?
I had a question about the backdrops. You
Backdrops?
spend a lot of time painting them.
Yes.
Have you considered printing them on vinyl like they do it in Python?
Actually, we did.
Yeah, we tried printing a large degree to them, but we keep finding out that actually printing them is really, really expensive.
Yeah.
Because, for example, one of those backdrops is roughly 6 meters something in width and about 1.20 meters in height. It's basically a large banner you need to print. And you need some mechanism that actually keeps it tight so you don't have wrinkles in it. And if it's printed on vinyl, you have problems with lighting because it will basically reflect the lights. So what we do is we do a mixture. We like print like parts on endless paper, and we stick it on. There's a lot of backdrops, especially in the Hawaii show, where there's like half of the backdrops are actually printed.
The whole Chinese
Yes.
thing was.
Yes, but it turned out it's not that much easier than you think. Actually, painting this thing can be easier, especially if all you need is basically blue backdrop and some stars on it or some trees. Good artists will basically do it out of their wrist. So. Yeah, we were trying to print everything that needs great detail, like posters, or like if you have like a column with artwork on it or something like that, we will print it. And if it's something that is done simple, like it's basically just a wall with rocks on them or trees, we will paint them because that's much easier. Any more questions? Over there.
Plan B is one of your target
Yes, we actually had to do that. If possible, yes. I think we can compensate for one guy or one woman getting sick, because we have like Risa and one of the women on the team. We have a lot of men on the team, and what we would actually do if it happens is that either, for example, Pan once had a very sore throat and she couldn't really speak, and our plan B would have been her acting and backstage Risa actually reading the dialogues, because we can have one person acting and one other person doing the actual speaking, and you can cover it up like that. It wouldn't have been perfect, but it would have been a viable plan B. And sometimes we have to exchange puppeteers at the last moment. Or we have to exchange stagehands and basically give them instructions. Like Zephyr once snapped his back and he couldn't stand anymore. And he went through all the rehearsals with us, and just like an hour before the final show, he basically hurt his back and he couldn't move. And someone else had to take over, which was of course very sad for him, but it kind of did work out, so yeah. If you're planning a puppet show like this, of course, it's always a little more tight than a professional production, because you can't have every piece of equipment twice and replace it in case of breaks. Sometimes things break that you can't fix, and they're basically screwed.
I think the closest call we had was when Tani had to go to hospital.
Yeah, Tani one had like inflamed stomach, and she kept throwing up, and she couldn't even keep water in, so her condition was degrading every minute because she was dehydrated and she was feeling really bad, and she started crying because she had rehearsed so much, and oh god.
Yeah, she was playing lead role, and so it looked like 2 hours before the show that we had to swap the lead role.
Yeah.
And that would have been to reading some of our puppeteers playing the role.
And of course it was devastating for her because she spent like basically 1 year rehearsing with that, and on the very day she got sick. And we basically took our one of the convention medics, and we drove her to the hospital in Cebu, and our medics said, okay, let me talk to these guys. We have a different authority than you have. And they basically went to the doctor and said to him, fix her. It doesn't matter how you get it. If you have some drugs that makes it work. And the doctor said, but it's not the standard procedure. They go, the standard procedure. We need her on stage like 2 hours from now. And they were like, well, it will be on your risk. Could you please sign this? And we signed it, and they put her on an IV drip, and they pumped her full of drugs, and within like 90 minutes she was feeling normal. I have no idea what kind of stuff they gave her. And yeah, the good stuff. I wanted to have some for my stash. And they said, okay, if you're going to play, the medics are going to stay nearby. So we have the medics posted on the left and on the right side of the stage, and watching if Tani would keel over or not. Because quite obviously she wasn't really, she hadn't really recovered, but drugs were helping her keep fluid in, and so she played through the sting. And she was so glad she could make it. She got lots of hugs that day, and she got some really, really good sleep there. So yeah, we have to figure out ways, because we're not professional. We can't replace everything. So far, we always managed, even if it means making 3 hours. But we played it.
And then other stuff breaks during the show, and then it's just improvised.
If stuff breaks during the show, you have to make it a joke. If someone's wig falls off, or if there's a piece of equipment that just breaks, you will have to ad-lib it. But the lights go out. Yeah, the character will have to go, why the heck did the light just go out? You have to just overplay it and make it.
He just flipped the wrong switch back.
Yeah. Lights come back. Oh, someone put the wrong switch. Yeah. You have to play your way around it. Same when you lose a line, you basically have to end it. So. Any more questions?
There was a question over there.
Over there, yes.
So your first 13 was my first reference, and that's my first puppet show in general. And at that puppet show you had all your own lyrics to songs from Nightwish.
Oh yes, we did that.
And from the shows I've seen so far, that was the only one that had such an extensive list of singing.
Yes.
Was it kind of your decision at the beginning when you thought of the theme, or?
Actually, it was. We wanted to be like a hard rock opera. So, but that time we didn't know Fox and Moore yet. So Nightwish had put out the instrumental version of the album, and we found it's exactly the same key as Hans Zimmer's score of King Arthur. So we made a soundtrack that was mixed up of Nightwish songs and some cues from Hans Zimmer's soundtrack of King Arthur. And I will never be able to watch that movie again, by the way, because we took it all out of context. So the nice thing about his music is it's all 4 bars, and you can just cut and loop it however you need it. And the nice thing was that Icefux, who wrote basically the songs, he didn't know the originals, so he didn't know the original melodies. So I basically gave him the playback and said, write some music to this. And he composed the melodies, which completely do not match with the original Nightwish melodies. We were using just the orchestral backing track they used. And yeah, that was a deliberate decision. And we really liked it, and we did it a couple of times after that. It's a huge effort though. If you don't have anybody to upload the whole music production, I think we spent weeks on getting it right and making it work, but yeah.
I can certainly say that since that moment, the Nightwish music certainly has even more emotional value to me.
It's the same to us.
Now that you know Fox and Moore and everything, would you say that in general, you would like to do something like that again, or would you say, oh, it was nice to try, but we'll keep it without saying no?
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we like the Hawaii themed one that we did 2 years ago. It had at least one song that Makani sung, and I think it was written by you.
Yes.
Yeah, so Fox wrote it. He did like a piano version of it, and
Fox arranged it and made it.
yes, and we sent that to Fox, and Fox made like the whole arrangement of it. But basically, it's Fox's composition. So yeah, we do it every now and then because it's fun, but it's so much work. We're so glad we get it done. Pompeii one didn't have a song, as far as I remember.
The Africa stuff had something.
When we did the Africa theme one at EF16, it had an ending song we actually wrote ourselves. Yes, there was one that was written by Pinky, performed by Fairlight and Nightfox, and I think I did the instrumental.
For Pompeii we used it also.
Yeah. So we tend to steal music sometimes if we don't have the time to do our own. Since we know Fox and War, that's such a godsend, but we finally have our own music, and I'm deeply honored that he does this. The deal is usually he writes the music for us free of charge, and we try to make the best of it, and he likes seeing epic stuff being done, and then he gets to release it as an album, so he gets his money back because he's a professional musician, and he's actually spending like work time on it, so that's kind of the deal we have. Alright, another question. Over there.
What is the budget for a show?
Can you please...
How much is the budget for the show?
Yeah, the budget. Do you mean what's on the piece of paper that we give to Luby, or do you about the money we spend? Yeah. It's really hard to say because there's a lot of private money being spent on things. I think the official con budget we have for it is, I think, what is it? Officially, the puppet show budget, I think, including everything, is like 4,000 or 5,000. But yeah, plus the stuff we're hiding in the stage budget, basically building a complete puppet stage the size we have. What would you estimate cost that extra? I would say 8,000 to 9,000 euros worth of equipment that you're basically hiding in the stage budget. It's like, oh, the stage is really expensive this time, but we're not changing the puppet show budget. And then there are, of course, all the private material being used that people never get the invoice for, like all the plastic that TO uses to print the stuff. Like sometimes the little parts are used for building props, like the license for the computer programs.
Travel costs.
Travel costs, yeah. Yes, fuel. I mean, I showed you the route, like the 5 kilometers. It's a 1,000-kilometer drive between me and Icebox every time we make a script meeting. And every time we do a rehearsal, basically like 20 people have to travel that far. They're paying this all from their own expenses. I think if we had to pay everyone, including Fox and Mo, to what they do, I think you're seeing about, I would say, at least between 50 and 70,000 euros worth of stuff. If we actually had to pay everyone for the hours they do. But it's a thing we just love, and we're crazy. We kill ourselves. So that's how we get away with that kind of budget. And the stuff we reuse from the F stage, obviously. Okay, let me see, how much time do we have? I'd say another 5 minutes. All right, Derek has to run because he's another event to do. Yeah. Replace the batteries! Nobody understands this anymore.
You make anyone?
No. All right, there's one more question down there.
That's not a question, it's more a comment. I've heard you at least 6 times say, we're not professional here.
It means you're earning money. If you say you're professional, it means you're earning money.
Well, it means more than that. I have to say that being professional is supposed to be paid as a professional are 2 different things. And from what I've seen here, you've got the professional spirit, you've got the professional seasoning, you've got all it takes. I do not want to hear you anymore say that you're not professional.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that.
All it needs, quite professional.
And we're trying hard to be. honestly, because you have to have some discipline to actually make this work.
Well, you have succeeded. I dub you professional.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're professional puppeteers now. Thank you for the comments. Any more questions? Any more questions? Back there.
Right, yeah, once you create a puppet show, you're obviously, and you perform it, you're obviously left with a lot of props that don't really have any other purpose. You know, what do you do with all the leftover props from shows?
It depends. If it looks reusable, we put it in storage and we use it again. Like if we have like swords or guns or something like that, it's very generic. We basically have a huge inventory of stuff in the storage, and we've made photos of everything. We've got a catalog, and some things are just too nice to throw away. Like nobody needs that lights. Yeah. Or yeah.
For example, the snapshot, or what normally is more interesting, for example, all the panels we are drawing. Most of the people always see, yeah, nice, you can maybe can put it somewhere. No, all of them are going to be thrown away. We have trashed pretty much everything off the show.
Yeah, we have no way to store it actually. For example, backdrops. We have obviously some exceptions to this. For example, the Ringberg Hotel kept some of the EF14 decoration to decorate one of their youth club rooms, because we used a lot of UV painting with bats and capes and everything. They basically asked us, can we have this? We said, sure, just mold it wherever you want. So they have it in the basement now. Some guy actually took took an electrical saw and sawed out a piece of artwork he wanted to have and stuff like that. So that was really funny. And if we really like a piece of equipment, we just take it home. We all have some dead puppets in the basement, you know.
Stones.
Yeah, exactly. Some we just keep as a keepsake, but a lot.
Never use them again.
Usually at the con there's a big trash container out there, and I asked someone else to do it because I can't. I really can't. Yeah, it's hard, but it's doing it for the fandom and doing it for the thing itself and doing it for the public. Yeah, that makes it worth it. Well, there.
Yeah, I was wondering, as you said, you throw a lot of those things away. Did you ever consider having for additional charity money selling off to some? Because I guess there are people that would love to get a piece of.
We did that with puppets partially. Lance sometimes built puppets we used for the show that he sells afterwards, or that he gives to charity, and usually try to take everything off them that tells you anything about the story and put them on display. There's not that much things that you can actually take away that makes any sense. And obviously many things will give away the story, and we're trying to keep up the the suspense and not telling anybody anything about the.
And afterwards, there's just no real time to do it. I mean, the convention is basically done. I mean, we're done with the show.
I mean, basically afterwards, when you specifically know we can't take this home, it's too big or something like that, that you may ask someone if he would.
There's no time. I mean, afterwards, the TV.
No, right before.
Going on.
If it's obvious that this.
Before we can't show it.
Can't show it. Yeah, all the charity stuff is done by the moment we start playing, and especially the large things, nobody wants them because nobody has a way of transporting them. It's like you need to be very, very, very dedicated to actually take something like the Snapdraw home because it's like 1.50 meters. So it's a really hard sell. So sometimes when we can, we do, but we tried in the past, but it really doesn't work.
With here at the charity auction, there will be 2 of 3 printed puppet heads that are made. So if you want one of these hats, they're for you to grab.
Very, very nice. And of course, if you like, we are putting some of the stuff that we have designed in 3D are on Thingiverse, so you can actually download the shapes and build your own puppets. And Theo has a huge blog, I think on LiveJournal, where he has like step-by-step pictures of how to build a puppet like that. So if you want to give it a try, we have all the instructions online, and you can have a look. So Theo is even going to help. If you want a puppet head, you can commission him, and he will do it for you. If you want to build us more puppets. If you want to build us more puppets, by the way, you have my address. I'm sorry for that. So yeah. Okay, let me see. One final question, then we have to wrap it up. Oh, there.
will there be a carpet show on EF22?
We are planning. We have a lot of difficult technical questions to solve before we can start, because we lost the nice rehearsal location and we have to actually design a stage that fits in the budget we have now, which is kind of a challenge because we pretty much doubled the stage budget this year, as you can probably guess, because we have like doubled the space. If we work that out, we really want to. Yeah. Especially now after playing this one, it's like,
it was just like coming home, right?
Yes, it's like, it's amazing.
It's a very busy, very cramped, very full home, but it's home.
Yeah. But we have to solve the technical problems before we have.
This show is done.
Yeah, then I can go back. And another thing,
yes, that would be good.
Our team shrunk a bit after last year, and we basically, we might make it work, but the more people we get, like Liam said before,
exactly.
The better it would, or the better the chances for a show next year, because it's just a crap load amount of work, and with as few people as we are right now, it's really hard to do.
So we offer no pay, we offer back pay and stuff.
Yes, you'll have to pull many all-nighters, but you'll have some great team spirit and free food.
We offer cookies.
Yes.
We're happy with people that don't make the bills 1 or 2 or 3 props.
Yeah, that's good as well. So it depends on what your skills are, what you like to do. So if you want to be on the stage with us, then prepare for a lot of hours of really, really pain.
No,
yeah, can't.
Yeah, it's going to be horrible.
Can't say it the other way, but it is rewarding.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But we need people building stuff. We need people coming to the backdrop weekend and just painting stuff. If you say, okay, I'm not an artist, I can't paint, you're wrong. Really, there are artists around to stick a brush into your hand, put some paint on it, and tell you put that paint on there. You can just go like this. Put it on there.
And sometimes you'll be surprised what your talents are. We had some new arrivals here that basically told us, oh, I can't do anything, I don't know how to do this. And then we went like, oh, we're running out of time, someone has to paint those pencils. Oh, yeah, I can't do this, but I will try anyway. And, well, yeah, I know I'm talking about you. That case is one of the best presents we ever had. We're like, why didn't you tell us you could do it? I didn't know I could do this. So, yeah, sometimes you'll be surprised what you can do if you have a challenge. So,
yeah. The thing about backstage work, you shouldn't be afraid of body contact.
Oh yeah, you're going to be very touchy-feely back there. So you're all going in like hanging one sweaty pile and.
You don't have body contact up to the front of the house.
Yes.
How many people for the mine scene years ago?
Oh right, yes, for the with the lorry.
20.
Yeah.
We did 5 people on that, puppet players. That's possible.
Yes, that works.
Really tight.
All right, yeah, we originally wanted to put like that's the scroll on EF Prime that tells you how much the events are delayed, and basically put in like the puppet show has been delayed 365 days, and or 66 exactly. So we hope we are going to be back next year and have a show. If my personal health allows it, if the technical problems allow it, if we can do it, we will make it happen. Okay, we need to clear this room, so I would suggest if you want to have some hands up with the puppets, some of the puppeteers should just put them outside. How would that?
Can do that.
The lobby is basically unused. So if you want to have some time with the puppets and the puppeteers, we're just going to take the puppets out the door and give you an opportunity to see them. And thanks a lot for coming, and hopefully seeing you next year. Ja, aber wir müssen jetzt nochmal einbauen. Muss auch gleich weg. Alright. Put it through. Mit Puppeteers am besten, wenn ihr Zeit habt. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Oh my God.